So, I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this, but that includes all the super chats and all the ads and everything. So it's not really enough. It's just barely enough to survive. Anyway, what I made last year was $258,000. So that was my tax return. That's what I made. It was just barely enough to survive. It's certainly not big money as far as I'm concerned. It was just barely enough to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It was just barely enough to survive. I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this, but it's just barely enough to survive. It's certainly not big money as far as I'm concerned. It was just barely enough to survive. Right for the moment, I still desperately need your help in order to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It was just barely enough to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It's certainly not big money as far as I'm concerned. It was just barely enough to survive. Right for the moment, I still desperately need your help in order to survive. So, I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this, but that includes all the super chats and all the ads and everything. So it's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. Right for the moment, I still desperately need your help in order to survive. I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. Right for the moment, I still desperately need your help in order to survive. I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this. What I made last year was $258,000. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive. It's not really enough. It was just barely enough to survive.
Sheriff's Office.
Because I got swatted by our dear friend Steven.
Do you realize as you're lying on a public live stream about being swatted that there's records that are going to prove that never happened?
But again, I don't hate Steven. It just kind of amazes me that since 2018 that he just won't stop. He's just so mad at me and he's so disrespectful and he's always making up these lies that are very easily disproven. And he's got a show on YouTube and he does 2.5 hours a week, sometimes more than once a week, just to hate me. And he's also out there attacking like Dr. Stephen Greer. He's really gone after Luis Elizondo. I mean, I think Luis Elizondo's cool,
How dare you make these false accusations against me that are so easily provable? How dare you claim you're getting me arrested or you're suing me because I'm doing all these things?
I said, look, I know who this is. It's this guy, Steven. I've got an enormous amount of evidence. Let me send you the evidence, just a little bit, because we're going to have to sue him anyway. We're already working on that. He can't stop. He creates 40 identities a week, blah, blah, blah. We've been dealing with this for like 10 years. It's actually more like 7 years, as much as I can trace. He emailed the animal welfare to try to get me swatted.
He claims I took full credit for the swatting attack with 4 new aliases. No, I didn't. But we know who did, and we're going to show you, and that is a completely and totally false claim.
I mean, it's almost like he wants to be arrested, he wants to be sued, he wants to be in jail. I don't know why you'd want to mess with your life like this. I mean, to hate somebody this much, to try to get me hurt, to try to get my dog hurt, it's really wild. And I kept thinking maybe he'll go away, maybe he'll stop, but he just won't. Put together for you guys. Why the hell not? Does Galen need to wear sunglasses? He probably should.
Spooky says, I was working with a filmmaker who knocked on your door to ask for an interview. It was filmed. You then called Jim Martin at 1091 and threaten calling law enforcement.
We here at Truth Seekers challenge UFO Jesus to find us one investor that will show us proof that they got their money back or made a single penny.
This is who he is, and the evidence shows that he's openly and proudly satanic. Now, there's nothing intrinsically wrong with that. It's an accurate character portrait of the man who's been making all these accusations against me. Now you're going to get to learn who he is. This is what he's proud of. This is what he wants to be. This is what he's saying. And this is the stuff that's going in the lawsuit. Just like my troll, wants to come after me with swatting. It's the same kind of thing. They are going to get really mad at you. They're going to threaten you. They don't want to publish your paper.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. It's been quite a while since we have visited the wacky world of Wilcock. I remarked on X earlier or yesterday that I have been very busy with another circus. And for those of you who are new viewers due to the Dark Side Phil interview, the wacky world of Wilcock is one of our staples here because this guy is truly remarkably insane and says a lot of insane things, like the Archangel Michael told him to take baths in his own urine in order to get superpowers, and then he used those superpowers to move the bullet and save Donald Trump from the assassin, and more. But if you enjoy the so-called detractor content about Darkside Phil, this could be considered detractor content about David Wilcock of Ancient Aliens fame. So we missed two entire live streams. I'll take a moment before we begin to welcome in the live chat. We've already got a great deal of wacky audience members waiting for the wacky. I know I haven't given you any of the wacky for quite some time. I didn't set a goal tonight. Maybe I should do that. Somebody said we should set the goal for $220. Which is quite possibly a good idea. For those unaware, and yes, we'll be doing an update on this, Darkside Phil was called a 220 case by his local police, which basically means they called him a mental case. They called him a mental case. The police, after he talked to them, called him a mental case. And honestly, after checking him out and learning so much about him, I couldn't agree more. I'm just going to put overtime for the goal. We have a goal of 50 super chats, any denomination. And yeah, we're a viewer supported show, so we appreciate you supporters. And if we hit our goal this evening, there will be additional time and we'll have some extra goodies for you. So I'm a little bit behind on many of the things in the wacky world of Wilcock, but one thing that was really funny is that he is going so crazy that he came across posts by Red Panda Koala, who is a UFO space sort of content creator and kind of friend of the show. He's been a guest here, and David Wilcock is claiming that Red Panda Koala is a CIA operative, and I just want to let David Wilcock know that that's entirely true. And I'm his CIA supervisor, David Wilcock, and I made him make those posts because I knew you would pick up on them. So just putting that out there on the record. Sometimes I send field agents out to capture your stupidity. I mean, conspiracy mind. And it is what it is. So we've got a world of new clips to go through because I didn't do the last one. And boy, I'm struggling here to see where are we at. I go by the shirt, right? Let's see. And what would the date of the last live stream we missed be? Oh no, we did that one. So just bear with me. I'm at a loss today. Very, very busy day, and we have the rush to 7 p.m. to get here live. One moment here. Okay, let me see here. No, I know I should have queued this. 1 second. Okay, yeah, we have located where we ended. For those unaware, there is a kind and generous friend of the show who makes the clips, so we don't have to sit through 6 hours of David Wilcock. So today is the 18th, which would mean that we missed his stream on the 18th and on the 9th. So we're going to be going through those clips. Take a moment to welcome once again the live chat. We've already got some kind and generous people throwing some money at us to hit that goal. One for the goal. Anal Fisher. Great user ID, bro. You felt it, DSP, you beautiful bastard. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated. And already got one for the goal. So we're going to get into these clips. And then I believe Red Panda Koala will be joining us at some point in the broadcast, which is great because then we'll be able to talk about the insanity that David Wilcock is spewing about Red Panda Koala, which is just, I couldn't believe it when I saw this. I was like, what is he doing? What is he talking about? Right? Like, he basically found some posts by Red Panda Koala and then decided that that guy was a CIA disinformation agent sent out to destroy, misinform the public because and he knows this because the alliance told him that. Qtard posts, I don't none of this makes any sense, but welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock. So we're going to get into the clips with the quickness because we've got so many to get through today, and I want to make sure that we're caught up. And thanks to all the people who messaged me during our little absence from the wacky world of Wilcock. It's nice to be missed. And I got to tell you, I enjoyed going and like learning about some other grifter, right? But it's interesting that Darkside Phil and David Wilcock have very similar tactics. They both beg to their audiences constantly. Darkside Phil much more than David Wilcock, but they also both constantly trying to make their audience feel sorry for them. They're under constant attacks, right? David Wilcock was attacked by the wind last week. He actually said that wasn't natural, that people are using weather weapons against him to stop him from broadcasting his truth. It is wacky, friends. We're going to put our fair use banner up. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. Let's get into it, friends. Oh, wait a second here. We can do that better. There we go.
I have a new prop for you here, as you can see. This is a Hindu Sanskrit vowel. Maybe one of you guys knows what letter that is. It is gold-plated. It was not cheap. I think it was like $150 or something.
This man who's crying and complaining that he only makes $258,000 a year and he can barely survive is buying $150 tchotchkes, I guess. Like when you go to the carnival, the junk they have there. This is junk, right? And somebody said that that's the Hindu symbol for gay, but I haven't confirmed that. I don't know Hindu language, or it's a safe bet, though, right? It could be. It could very well be the Hindu symbol for gay. All right, let's get to the next one.
You mentioned a stalker from Pennsylvania. Were you referring to me? Absolutely not.
Okay, and here is where I have infected David Wilcock's brain with a mind virus. For some of you who don't know better, David Wilcock blames everything in his life on me because I fact check him on the internet. He's called me a terrorist. David Wilcock is terrorized by somebody fact-checking his public statements on the internet. And we've busted previous, let's just say, less than shady fundraisers he's been involved in, including his shady charity, where he raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and near as we can tell, did no charitable works, but he sure spent a lot of money on software, equipment, and all that stuff. So now I have infected his brain with a mind virus. It's true. And David Wilcock can't stop thinking about me, talking about me, worrying about me, claiming he's been claiming I'm getting arrested by the police because something I'm doing on the internet is criminal somehow. And he's getting me arrested and suing me. And so far, nothing.
That is not who we're talking about, but we know, again, it's not Stephen Greer, but his name is Stephen. He lives in Pennsylvania, and he has been the bane of my existence for 7 years.
I've been the bane of his existence. Well, I guess if you're a scumbag grifter and you lie to your audience constantly, and somebody comes along and starts fact checking the things that you say on your show, yeah, I guess I would become the bane of you. He's just upset because he cannot grift and get away with it. He can't grift and get away with it anymore because I'm here to fact check him. But I think we do a public service doing that.
Nobody in Hollywood has ever heard of anybody stalking this badly. He called the SWAT team to try to get my dog, taken away from me after she was already dead.
Well, we got the body cam footage. There was no SWAT team. There was no swatting. He lied about all of that, and we proved it.
I knew he would probably do something weird, so I didn't announce it. Anyway, I don't want to get into Stephen, but we've got really good plans for him. And, we might be a little more lenient if he tells us who's been paying him to do this, but he's going to have to do that.
Oh, what is he going to waterboard me? What is he going to torture me and make me give up my sources? I've talked about it before. In the state of Pennsylvania, there is a journalist shield law. I don't have to give up my sources.
I've been bullied.
Even under threat of subpoena, even under threat of arrest, I don't have to give up any of my sources. But somehow, David Wilcock, he's even said in the past that maybe I could get a plea agreement if I tell them who is putting me up to this or who's paying me this for me. The people paying me are the audience members who want to see you get felted, loser.
I've been bullied my whole life, and being online is a very intense thing. And, we got, as I said, this one guy, Stephen, who's just like the embodiment of the resistance. And he clones himself into thousands of identities, typically.
Yes, I am the embodiment of the resistance, David Wilcock. I am the grifter resist. I am the head. I am the general of the grifter resistance network. And Wilcock has at various times claimed that he only has one critic, and it's me. And meanwhile, look at all these replies to this thread, right? There is a whole network of people on Twitter that are critics of his, but he refuses to acknowledge that. And somehow he's paying $2,000 a month, according to him, to preserve his echo chamber. You can't be critical. You can't ask any questions that he doesn't like, or they get deleted. You get hidden from the channel because he's an intellectual weakling and a coward. And he can't have his dumb as rocks followers saying the truth about the lies he tells. 5 or 6
fake identities.
I have no fake identities. I have no fake Twitter pages. And, you keep mentioning court. You got to prove things in court. You can't just say things. He claims I have all of these sock accounts. I only have one Twitter account, X account. It's at Stephen Cambion.
We've got a team of 8 people.
There he goes with his team.
It cost me over $2,000 a month to fight one guy. That's actually true. So
damn, I must be like a super troll if you got to spend $2,000 a month just to fight me. And to be clear, he's not fighting me. He's fighting every critic on the internet that thinks he's a scumbag and a liar and says so. He's got to preserve the grift. So what he's doing is paying, apparently, or allegedly, according to him, he's paying a whole team of people to sanitize his YouTube comments, his Twitter threads. Go look. You will never see anything critical because he can't withstand critique. He can't withstand debate because he's a coward. And he knows he's been lying to his audience.
It's very intense, but, I don't have any problem with where this is going. I know that my information is good and nobody else agrees with this stuff. I've been bullied my whole life, and being online is a very intense thing. And, we got, as I said, this one guy, Stephen, who's just like...
Yeah, so nobody agrees with him. David Wilcock, thousands of people watch my videos and agree with me. Okay. So you can't lie and say nobody agrees with me. That is disingenuous at
I think
best
it was on.
and dishonest at worst. It's just a bold-faced lie telling your followers that, but he has to. And that's the thing about liars. They have to tell more lies to cover the old lies.
I think it was on Saturday. Yeah, I think it was yesterday that we got an email about one of our big new deals. We have
There's always huge deals coming into his shady aerospace company, but for 30 years, they haven't produced a single product or service. The money's coming next week. Big orders are coming in, and they never get here.
Deal coming in from India, and they were supposed to be coming out the week of Valentine's Day, and I was going to go out there and meet with them, but now they've delayed it because of this ceremony that only happens once in 144,000 years. I'm sorry, once in 144 years. 144,000 is a biblical thing. So as soon as they said 144 years, I'm like, oh my God, there's a time loop where it says the compass points in 144 degrees.
Oh, he's in a time loop for
whoa.
real.
And it said I had to go there. So now it seems, okay, we are going to have a major presence in India. We're going to be building airliners for them. We're looking at four different.
So far, let's just review some of the claims David Wilcock has made. First, he said Stavatti Aerospace was going to build hover cars with free energy engines. Then he said that they were going to build all these super advanced aircraft. Then he said they were going to build spaceships. Now they're building power stations somehow. And also they're building military aircraft for India.
Different potential sites where we would build an airport or use an existing airport. And there's a whole bunch of crazy synchronicity. It's a little bit too early to talk about, but I'm very excited about where that's going.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath waiting for India to hire Stavatti Aerospace to modernize their air force. I wouldn't hold your breath.
Then we also have Justin. I love the SM-39 Razor. It's 6th generation. Yes, that's true. It is actually a spaceship. It will be the most advanced. And I didn't bring down a new one. The old one broke.
Oh, his old G.I. Joe toy broke. He used to show people. All they've made is 3D printed plastic toys. And the fact that David Wilcock claims that they're going to make this airplane that is so much more advanced than anything on the planet, a space plane, in fact, which would mean it would have to have jet engines and rocket engines to fly in the atmosphere and also in space. Boeing hasn't done that successfully very well yet. And Lockheed Martin hasn't done that very successfully yet. But his company that never made a single airplane, near as I could tell, are going to beat Boeing. It's ridiculous. It's like listening to somebody drunk at the bar who's just BSing too much. And now he says he has an angelic soul. I'm here to tell you that if you lie to people for a living, David Wilcock, and tell fake stories with losers like Corey Good telling secret space stories for 5+ years, or was it 8 years? And then Corey Good admits under oath that he just made all the stories up. You don't have an angelic soul. You have a predator soul.
Anybody's desire to get high or drink alcohol or do any type of drugs, that's going to be gone because you're going to be constantly high, constantly blissed out. You won't need any chemicals at all.
Oh, when Ascension comes. The Ascension he's been promising since 1998.
And in fact, some of us who are angelic souls may be prone to addiction because we remember what that blissful life is like.
He's an angelic soul. I don't think so. I don't think he's an angelic soul.
This is a very big deal. And the reason I found out about...
Yes, and Macario says, they knew that the ceremony was coming for 144 years, but accidentally made an appointment with Stavatti Aerospace during that time. Not only that it's not for a weekend or a week, but the ceremony lasts 45 days.
About it again was because we were lining up a gigantic...
Yeah. Oh, that's why we didn't get that big deal with Stavatti Aerospace, because all the Indians are busy.
Deal
Jesus
for Stavatti.
Christ, man.
We're talking about really, really big numbers.
Yeah. This is the guy who said that people were going to invest $5 billion into a company that's never made an airplane. Does that sound like a good business move? Like, hey, I got $5 billion. Let's invest it in a company that's been lying about all these big deals that they're getting for years, never produced a single product or service. And they have the guy from Ancient Aliens on their board of directors, and their CEO claims that, whose name is Christopher Beskar, claims that George Lucas named the Beskar armor from the series, the Mandalorian series, after him because he made designs for the prequels of some spaceships. No, he didn't. He's not listed on IMDb or the credits. We got to Lucasfilm. He's just totally made that up. Who would invest $5 billion into a company where the CEO is basically a bullshitter?
Huge participation with India is going to come out of this. But our funders, who are very well-connected people, 2 out of 3 of them are going to be coming over here. They're the principals. They're the ones that own the actual account that has the money in it. And they got delayed because they said, well, we got to stay around for Maha Kumbh Mela. The festival goes on for exactly 45 days.
Oh, so I guess the money will be coming in 45 days, right, David Wilcock? We'll check in with him in 45 days, but I guarantee you that nothing will happen. He's been talking about these big deals. Sneedberger Syndrome with a kind of generous £2 says, don't send this on worthless knickknacks, Steve. Yeah, thank you. I'll spend it on something good. And Old Nosy is here. Stephen, the bane of Sir Wackadoo, kind of generous $5. And 1 for the goal, Old Nosy. Thank you very much. And I forgot. We do have those very special praise to cash bumpers for you kind and generous benefactors. Thank you very much. All of you, praise the cash.
Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. The blue chickens command you to praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash.
Thank you, Old Nosy. And Fat Chick Thriller, I'm sure Fat Chick Thriller is merely warming up for the big dono bomb coming tonight, right? Where is your disclosure, Steve? With a kind of generous $2.99 Australian. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate it. And another one from Fat Chick Thriller. Steve is the top Jenny. Oh, man, I'm going to try to catch up with these super chats here, and then we'll move on with tonight's broadcast. Lynn Alzer with a kind of generous $5, 1 for the goal. And thank you, Fat Chick Thriller, 2 for the goal so far. Thank you for taking a different approach to investigations. It reminds me of the hard-hitting journalism interviews that existed when I was growing up. Thank you. That's what I want to emulate. Yeah. I've said many times, there used to be a local guy in Philadelphia who would bust like roofing scammers. He would like catch them just sitting up on the roof and not doing the work and then charging people money. And then he would gotcha them and get them. I love that shit. But thank you very much, Lynn Alzer and Fat Chick Thriller with another one. This is a Steve alt account. Time to come clean, says Fat Chick Thriller. Don't say that. People will think that, yeah, you know, that's a thing. I knew a guy that had a channel and he used to get like a friend or something to throw money in. So people started to donate. I'm like, that's slimy. Old Nosy with another one for the goal. Get the Ghost of Kiev, one of these aircraft ASAP. Yeah, exactly. Right. It is funny that they have some kind of Ukrainian division for a company that doesn't make anything. Fat Chick Thriller with $7.99 Australian. You need to start putting zeros on there, Fat Chick Thriller. Sorry, sir. Scheduling conflict. Thank you. Come again. All right, we're rapidly catching. Okay, we're all caught up on the donos. Thank you all for helping us to praise the cash so far.
Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash, friends. All right, we'll go to the next one. Now, the next one.
45 days, 45th president. Now, that's pretty freaking weird.
Macario says, Wilcock slipped. His eyes are getting worse, and you can see him taking the sunglasses off. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Apparently, he has to wear sunglasses to read off of his screen, so he puts a slide up, and then he puts the glasses on. I don't know. Now another clip of him sending his followers to invest in Stavatti.
45 days, 45th president. Now, that's pretty freaking weird. That's pretty freaking weird, but the coincidences are going to keep on stacking up, and I think there's something to it. Oh, we got a big donation here.
Daniel Look at him get so excited for a big donation.
You can see it right here. Donate $100. Thank you for that.
Who is dumb enough to give that guy $100?
I really do appreciate your help. My wife and I are so grateful for you. You've been a huge part of our awakening in 2020. I cannot think of anything better than to work for you
In 2020, David Wilcock was still grifting off the fake secret space program stuff. So how did he help you awaken with fake stories, you dummy? I'm upset. I think that guy should give the $100 to me, not David Wilcock.
Sure, where do we apply? You can go to stavatti.com and put it in there.
Sure. Go invest in a company that has been collecting investor money for 30 years, to the best of my knowledge, and has never produced a profit. That sounds like a sound business decision.
And also, we do still have, I believe, it's my understanding that there are still openings available for anybody that wanted to do smaller scale investing. So if that's, if that's your interest, you can also write in for that. We have, I think, 18 slots left. If I remember that.
Yeah, right. They have unlimited slots left because they'll take money from anybody that's stupid enough to give them money. They're not going to tell you, no, you can't invest in our scam.
For Casey, born March 18th.
David Wilcock is the biggest moron, says Macario. Let's see what this one's about.
Casey, born March 18th, 1877, plus 4, that's 1881, Maha Kumbh Mela. And there's the facial similarity. We also have the astrology.
He thinks he's got slides up. He doesn't know how to work a live stream. He's a moron. You're right, Macario. He is a moron.
Similarity. And again, whoops, let me make sure. I guess I was not on the slide. Sorry about
no, you
that.
weren't, you dummy. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's some good stuff. What can we say?
My company that we're our main.
Macario says he has to be one of the most delusional people. Can you believe that jets shoot fire out of the back to make them go fast? I had no idea.
Business is fighter jets. We've got actually all different kinds of jets, commercial and military.
No, they have pretty pictures of all kinds of airplanes. They don't have a single airplane that they've ever manufactured. David Wilcock, why are you like basically threatening to sue me and get me arrested for correctly pointing out that your shady aerospace company has been collecting investor money? They're being sued by investors, sued by creditors. By the way, they're being sued by another creditor now. Remember, David Wilcock said that they were only being sued by one investor and that was getting settled. That's not being settled. The case is moving forward, and a new company, an accounting firm, is suing Stavatti Aerospace now. For unpaid bills.
I got right here.
But hey, they're going to build
this is
super
our
jets.
SM31. Let's zoom in on that sucker.
Yeah, so, it looks like a G.I. Joe toy, David Wilcock.
So this is actually a very capable aircraft.
It's
going to outmaneuver everything that's out there now.
Knowing is half the battle, you know.
We can build it as a drone, so it can fly electronically with no pilot. It allows us to pack more stuff in here if we do that. It's also called close air support. You can see it's very sleek. It's very, very fast. It's got all the stealth capability that you could ever want.
Yeah, again, did you hear what he just said? It's got all the stealth capability you could ever want. That is not a stealth aircraft. It's not even the right shape to produce the effects needed to be a stealth aircraft. And also, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, the people that actually make stealth aircraft are decades and decades and decades ahead of them. But he's claiming that they're going to create stealth aircraft. Does he even know anything about actual aviation and aviation history? That is a standard airplane jet configuration. That's not a stealth configuration. That airplane would never get under people's radar. It would never be undetectable by radar, which is what stealth means, you dummy. He really is a moronic idiot, this guy.
And it shoots out a whole bunch of fire out of its tail end here. So it can take off really fast.
Shoots out fire! Shoots fire! It shoots fire out of its tail end! I shoot fire out of my tail end, usually on Taco Bell night.
Are the products that we're selling, folks. And the Alliance...
They're not selling any products. All they have is G.I. Joe toys. They don't show us the real airplane, David Wilcock.
To be really...
Show us a test flight or videos of a test flight. These airplanes only exist in the land of make-believe.
Into this because 4 different posts that Scavino made just this week with fighter jets in them. And they've done this before, obviously signaling Stavatti Aerospace.
Oh, somebody made posts with jets in them. Therefore, This is a mystical occurrence.
So I expect that, as should happen, our company is going to get contracts to help rebuild our Air Force. And we need it, because even if we get peace
They're
on
not
Earth,
getting any contracts.
we got to defend against
They're
other
not
folks as
getting
well.
any contracts.
And we can put laser weapons in that sucker, and now we've got something.
Now they got laser weapons and stealth.
So that's a very important part of the story.
Airplane
as well.
with laser weapons.
So this was the first post that he made, showing 4 fighter jets. And again, it's probably post 39, but I didn't have time to decode all these.
Oh, decode it.
Flying right near everybody. So there you go. There's your 4 examples. I think that's another very strong comm from the alliance.
Oh, he's getting communications from secret government insiders
Endorsing our company.
And they post those secret communications from the alliance on Twitter. What an idiot. He is
12
delusional.
is another one of those classic posts, the one that says,
it's a capable aircraft. Buffalo Spunk says, it's a 3D printed dildo with wings, you jackass. Oh man, there's nothing like getting felted by a girl on the Twitter or on X. Flint Westwood with a kind of generous $5, one for the goal. Come on, Steve, just trust the guy. Mr. Wilcock wouldn't do anything bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got such a stellar track record of honor and integrity, right?
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash.
Well, we're praising the cash pretty good tonight. So thank you, Flint Westwood, with one for the goal. And Old Nosy with another one for the goal. Oh, here we go. He's lying through his buck teeth again. Yeah, did you know his teeth are fake? I always say he's lying through his fake teeth because it's funny. But thank you, Old Nosy. Another for the goal, helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Praise the cash, friends. All right, we're gonna go to the next clip. We're getting through these, a pretty good clip here. So that's the good news, right?
Justin Henderson, do you think Rabati will hire anyone without much schooling outside of diploma? Or maybe you guys would offer schooling programs. I guess Rabati, you mean Stavatti.
Rabati.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, is that we're going to rejuvenate the universities because...
Yeah. All right, so far, they're building spaceships. They're building space planes. They're building hover cars with free energy engines. They're building power plants. They're building electric vehicles, right? And they're also going to revitalize all the universities in the United States. Like, does he even have any sense of reality left? He is losing it.
University, you can get a 2-year degree, an associate's degree, in a vocational technical subject, or what they call STEM, science, technology, education, math. One of the problems is we don't have enough Americans who are educated in STEM, as they call it. And as a result, we need more people to graduate. And so, yes, we're going to have college programs where you get this 2-year degree and you come out and you can get a high-paying job in aerospace that will...
Yeah, so now they're going into the education business as well as the electric car business, the rocket ship business. They're already, according to them, in munitions and dynamite business, and they make artillery, and they're also going to be in the education business. None of this makes any sense.
Set you up for life.
It's like a comic book. Does he think that Stavatti is like Tony Stark?
You work in a state-of-the-art facility. You get good pay, good benefits. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and by the way, they promised good pay and benefits, and they promised to create, what was it, 400 jobs? They didn't create one job, and they lost all their tax breaks and incentives from Niagara, New York. The local municipality pulled it because they didn't create a single job. So here he is saying they're going to create all these jobs again. What happened to the first couple of years you were supposed to create those jobs, and you created exactly 0 jobs?
E equals engineering. Okay. Says Anna Van Opham. Chantel Henderson. David, watch for my name. I'm going to apply to work for you. I want to be your trusted assistant or something. My heart tells me to reach out and let you know. Thank you, Chantel. We definitely have many jobs coming up.
What are you going to assist him with? Like waxing his back? I don't know. Helping him pretend he still has hair on the top of his head? Like, why does he need an assistant? Wait, is that even a thing? Like, if you're an online grifter, you can get an assistant to help you with the grift, maybe? I'm confused. All right. This is crazy. We'll go to the next one.
He says available funding.
Macario says, oh, now it's billions. They're getting billions of dollars from India, friends.
He says available funding. This is prophetic of Stavatti, and how the actual funding that we're getting, one of the biggest ones is coming from India, hence my new beautiful Sanskrit gold symbol here.
Yeah. Could you imagine how stupid this guy is? He's like, hey, we're getting billions of dollars from India, so I can afford to buy a $150 knick-knack to hang on my wall because, you know, $150 isn't much. We're going to be getting billions from those Indian Hindu people. It's so ridiculous. And Buffalo Spunk says the football never stops moving. Every week, he forgets that he said there was big deals coming the previous week, and he talks about the new big deals, and the deals never come.
Mahakumbh Mela delayed our funding, but, you know, we're looking at potentially 9 figures. I mean, it's freaking massive. That's billions. Yeah. That's what this could be. And we're going to have a production facility in India.
Now they're going to build a factory in India. Remember, they're already building a factory in the United States to build electric vehicles. Now they're building a factory in India to what? Make airplanes that don't exist? I guess that makes sense. Like, if you're in the land of make-believe and you need to make make-believe airplanes, then you just make a make-believe manufacturing facility, right, David Wilcock?
We're going to be doing this in America. And
so they're going to have a manufacturing plant in America, too.
So thrilled that all this is converging in such a fascinating way. So
we keep saying it's converging, but none of this ever happens because it's the land of make-believe.
Again, what it takes here is some available funding. He says available funding. This is prophetic.
Yeah, it takes available funding, but they haven't had any funding since he started talking about this Stavatti Aerospace years ago. Oh, here we go with he had another. He thinks all his dreams mean something, and the sad part about this is that he took psychology in college, and in psychology courses they teach you, you know, basic neurology. Dreams are not prophetic, you dummy.
Oh, like again, I mean, I was a little reticent. This one I didn't put in the show until more recently, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to look like I'm pressuring anybody.
You gotta do the camera switch. And I know people have asked me why we're not using the multicam setup anymore, because I don't really think we need it. But I have been working on it again, so maybe we'll bring it back, because we used to switch cameras every time he did because it's stupid.
But I also don't want to censor Archangel Michael. I would be more afraid at this point of holding back the prophecy.
He doesn't want to censor an angel, but he can censor all you goddamn detractors and critics that are just ruining his life on Twitter and in his YouTube comments and in his YouTube chat. And by the way, I did this last week confirm that he is indeed hiding any user. I forgot that I do have multiple Gmail accounts. So I went on his live chat and typed something that was less than flattering, and they instantly hid that account from the channel. So David Wilcock is such a coward. He can't withstand any criticism. And the best of, as I recall, it was a question. It was a critical question. It wasn't even that bad. Instantly, they banned that account from their chat. So that's the world that David Wilcock lives in. In order to preserve his delusional fantasy world where any of this is real, you know, it's like the Three Monkeys. You know, he's got to, I don't want to hear these critics with their facts and their logic.
Oh, like again, I mean, I was a little reticent. This one I didn't put in the show until
he's
more
not
recently.
going to censor an angel.
Because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to look like I'm pressuring anybody. But I also don't want to censor Archangel Michael. I would be more afraid at this point of holding back the prophecy.
Come on. You know, if an angel was really talking to him, that an angel would smack him silly and tell him to stop being a lying grifter and stop taking advantage of mentally vulnerable people to make a living like a scumbag.
And giving it to you. So what happens is this makes it sound like I'm going to be working directly with the administration, at least in Florida, probably in D.C.
Oh, so now he's going to have a job with. Listen so far to what we've heard. His company is going to build manufacturing plants in India and the United States. They're going to manufacture electric cars. They're going to make hover cars. They're going to make free energy engines and power plants. And they're going to sell bombs and missiles and super fighters and all these different airplanes. And also, besides all of that, he's going to work for the Trump administration. Sure.
And it's just loaded in
Sure.
this room. So
he really is a pathological liar. There's no other explanation for how he just lies so effortlessly.
You know, if they want me to do that, I definitely will. Michael seems to want us to make this happen. I think
the Archangel Michael wants David Wilcock to get a job in the Trump administration. Sure, that sounds plausible.
Will have a very valuable use in terms of educating people about what I published in my classic book up here, The Source Field Investigations. Behind me is the New York Times bestseller. You can see it right there.
Yeah, how many of those books did you buy yourself?
That science explains anti-gravity, spirituality, DNA being a product of...
And this is the funniest thing. Like, okay, buy my book because it explains how anti-gravity works. Great. Then show us a hover car, bitch. Show us a working anti-gravity machine. He can't. He sold a $333 course on free energy and anti-gravity. And listen, I try to be as polite as I can sometimes, especially with him threatening to sue me and all of this, get me arrested. But is it really asking too much that if you take $333 from perhaps thousands or tens of thousands of people to teach them how to do something, that you be able to demonstrate that you can do that thing you're teaching and saying is real before you take millions of dollars, potentially millions of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands at least, to teach them free energy and anti-gravity? And in his course, he said, if you take my course, you'll be able to do it too. Alien scientist has got a physics degree and is a real scientist. He took his course and said it was a cobbled together bunch of nonsense from public domain sources. In other words, he cobbled together a bunch of crap from the internet and he charged stupid morons $333 for it. Now, let me be clear because I don't want to get myself in trouble here. Alien scientists knew that it was a scam, but he paid to see what was in it so that he could talk about it being a scam, and he has. A real scientist who, by the way, alien scientist Jeremy Rise runs APEC, and they study strange science and anti-gravity and free energy and all that stuff, but they're real scientists. They all think that David Wilcock is a nut job and he's a liar and a scam artist that sold people a $333 course, and he can't prove that he can do that or he can make it work.
Quantum mechanics, that life is built into the universe is alive and intelligent. All the stuff about sacred geometry, how it relates to quantum mechanics, relates to the actual shape of thought, and that your thoughts can...
Sounds like somebody smoked a few too many doobies and thought they cracked the code to the universe.
...materialize into reality. Understanding extraterrestrials, understanding the demonic, somebody who has fought the devil and has not been intimidated by evil, by the demonic. I can see where I have value and use. Plus,
this guy spends his life deceiving people, and he's here saying, oh, I have not been infected by the demonic.
We have Stavatti Aerospace.
Meanwhile, he's talking to unknown entities claiming to be angels, telling him to put sacred knowledge behind a $333 paywall. Does that sound like something an angel would do, or does that sound like something a deceiver would do?
Can rebuild our nation's military at a much cheaper cost.
Oh, they're going to rebuild. But besides all those other things that he's been saying, they're also going to rebuild the whole United States military.
Many of our technologies are a half or even 300% less expensive than even the least expensive
a half or 300%
planes that we're making right now, like a F-15 or an F-16. They typically run 80 million. We've got some stuff we can get down to like 20 million, 25 million, and it's actually better.
Yeah. So he's going to build better aircraft that are a third of the price than Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and all of these other, companies that have been at this for decades and actually produce real products. But somehow some scammy aerospace company that's being sued by investors, sued by creditors, losing tax breaks because they never did what they said they were going to do, creating jobs. Those people are all going to, yeah, sure. I mean, that same company that's being sued by everybody is going to somehow beat Lockheed Martin, beat Boeing. Rare Tricks with a kind and generous $5. One for the goal says keep up the good work. And Fat Chick Thriller with a kind and generous $2.99 Australian with the cucumbers. I will be seeing cucumbers in my live chat for the rest of my life. If you're not familiar, David Wilcock's wife, or once wife, ex-wife, once made cucumber porn, in which she told women that you can cleanse your vajayjay with a peeled cucumber, and then when you're done with the cleansing, you can just dill yourself with it for your pleasure. Flint Westwood with a kind of generous too. One for the goal. I wouldn't waste my tech degree on this gnome. That's probably good advice, right? That's probably good advice. Old Nosy with a kind and generous $5 says he's hiring janitors. Exactly. DJ D's with a kind and generous 1111. Praise the cash, Stephen. Can we look forward to David Wilcock roundtable with Truth Seekers and Hidden in Plain Sight? That would be sweet. Well, the worst person to ask for a guest appearance is somebody with their own show. But we have kind of talked about that, and it'll happen eventually, DJ D's. But thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. For those unaware, there's a podcast called Hidden in Plain Sight. They also dunk on Wilcock Weekly. But Dave Wilcock says they only have one critic. Wouldn't that prove if there's two guys on that show and I'm one guy that he has at least three critics? Dave Whiteman with a kind and generous $1, £1, one for the gold, though. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. We've got Sneedberger Syndrome with $1, one for the goal. We're going to hit that goal tonight, friends. James 4488 with $3, or £3. Thank you for one for the goal, and Sneedberger Syndrome with another one for the goal. We've got Old Nosy with throwing a $5 down. This grift is as old as time. I am speaking to angels in my dreams. Exactly. And thank you. And Flint Westwood with $5. This guy knows about as much about angels as a fat guy knows about dieting. Well, some fat guys know a lot about dieting because they tried a bunch of diets and none of them worked. I don't know. But good point. Thank you, Flint Westwood. And Sneedberger Syndrome quickly becoming the MVP of the dono goals tonight. It says, suffer, midnight mark, suffer. £2. Thank you. That's one for the goal. And Michael McConnell with $5. Nothing makes me happier than your enthusiasm for hating on Wilcock. He's an easy guy to hate. The guy makes $258,000 a year, and he's still crying that he could barely survive. Do you know what I could do with $258,000 a year? Everything I want to do and then some, and give tons of money to charity. I'd help homeless people. I'd help stray dogs and cats and animal shelters. And meanwhile, what does he do with all that money? He lives in a huge mansion by himself. Why do you need a huge mansion if you live by yourself? You don't need that, right? But he's so important, I guess, that he feels like he should have a big fat mansion while he's telling people that he's just a humble prophet living in the mountains in a cabin. It's a log cabin mansion. It's a mansion styled after a log cabin. It's got heated floors, right?
Saying that I can't see the beauty of my own actions. And this is really true. I mean, it's like I feel so under fire. You know, we've got terrorism, we've got death threats, we've got unrelenting stalking.
He's being terrorized. I'm terrorizing David Wilcock. Yes, Mr. Wilcock, I am terrorizing you by fact-checking you and making fun of you. Sure, I'm a terrorist.
I feel like
I'm a grifter terrorist. I terrorize grifters. That's what you're right. I mean, that would be a fair statement that Stephen Cambion is a grifter terrorist. I terrorize these grifters by fact-checking them.
He's on the defensive. There's always people. We have these comments. I mean, there's some crazy, awful stuff that people write in these comments sometimes.
Yeah, like you're a liar, like you're a grifter. Oh, it's so terrible.
Thankfully, we have, a team of 8 people.
And by the way, that's what he's calling death threats, mean tweets. Mean tweets are death threats.
Fighting it. They run in shifts to make sure nobody gets burned out. But still, people are constantly trying to write really nasty stuff in there.
Does anybody think that's true? That there's just so many nasty comments that he has to run full 24/7 shifts to sanitize his Twitter and his YouTube channel?
It's tough. And I admit that, I used to live in these higher realms, apparently, and in those realms, everybody gets along and everybody has a consensus. So for an angelic soul like myself, it's difficult to deal with the fact there are people who are just adolescent bullies, and they're never going to get it, and they're never going to treat me with respect. So
well, I treat people with respect that are worthy of respect. You know, I don't respect what you do. You lie to people for money. You lied to everybody with Corey Good for 8 years, bro. How is that worthy of respect? You and your greasy partner grifted millions of dollars off of UFO and alien fans for completely and totally fake stories that he admitted under oath were all fake stories. How is that worthy of respect? No. Guilty. Guilty, I say. That is worthy of mockery.
I am often incapable of seeing the beauty of my own actions of service, and I'm trying to really take that to heart and be kinder to myself now. Because again, they reference the birds. The birds do not realize how beautiful they are. And they say to us, it is
What about those bluebird aliens, Mr. Wilcock?
Sound more melodious than the sweetest music.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Man, we got a lot more to get through here.
Calling the Gaza on Brokefoot Mountain, mate. It doesn't mean I'm gay, but I just thought that was funny.
Macario says he swears he's not gay. Yeah, he swears he's not gay.
Is that white powder under David's nose? I don't know. I don't use any drugs.
Busted!
Blow my nose and thank you.
Busted! Oh, let's back that up. He got busted.
Is that white powder under David's nose? I don't know. I don't use any drugs. If I need to blow my nose, and thank you. You guys are so freaking crazy. I mean, honestly, there is a whole Steven contingency of his friends that come in here, and this is all they do. And
yeah, we felt you, loser. Gotcha, bitch.
They all keep each other morally support because hardly any of it gets seen. Our team takes that stuff down. Thank you, team.
Hey, team, you guys better get faster when people are pointing out that I may have white powder under my nose during a public live stream on YouTube. Great stuff. And Liz E says, it's the guild, say our names, and Buffalo Spunks. Also, we're a conspiracy now. I thought we were a guild. I can't keep up. Exactly. It just gets stupider and stupider.
I wrote, Stavatti's imminent success will mark the end of my Casey karma. Casey lost his house.
Oh, and here he talks about getting a loan.
After 1929's Great Depression. It collapsed almost immediately. They ran out of money, which is now happening to the DS. He never had any wealth again for the rest of his life. And now I've been completely broke for over 3 years since my divorce. I've had to recapitulate that karma.
Yo, who's broke and then makes a slide about it to show their audience? Like, I've been broke for 3 years. And to show my audience proof and make you feel sorry for me so you send me more money, I'm going to put that I'm a broke bitch on a slide. He's putting that he's a broke bitch on a slide. He made a slide just so that he could drive home the point that he's a broke ass bitch, right? Just so he could.
Again, living alone on the top of the mountain, just fighting for survival, fighting for every dollar that I get.
He's not really at the top of the mountain. He's more like in a valley because he has mountain views. You wouldn't have mountain views if you were at the top of the mountain. Another stupid lie.
So again, we do still need you to order my products. There are people offering me a loan, so I may take out a loan because I now know we're getting really close to being funded, and the loan will help me financially.
Oh, yeah.
So,
hey, I could take a $20,000 loan because we're getting billions from India soon. In 45 days, we'll have billions, so I could take out a loan.
You know, they keep asking, so I may do that. Anyway, yeah, once we get funded, I will be cleansed of the difficulties of my multi-incarnational past. Casey never really had any money, and I would love to change that in my life now. I wrote Stavatti.
Yeah, so he's getting a loan now. He's going to get a loan based on Stavatti promising that they're getting billions of funding from India. Good luck with that, bro. Good luck with that.
One of my rules is I don't want to hang out with any girl who's got a boyfriend because especially if she's a fan of mine, he's going to get jealous and he's going to plot against me. So that's one of my rules. Like, you know, I'm not going to be the third wheel in somebody else's.
Yo, I know crystal hippie bitches are dumb as shit. Most of these crystal hippie bitches are dumb as shit. So I'll give him this one. Maybe there really is like a line of crystal hippie bitches that want to hang out with him. That could be true.
relationship. And that's one of the reasons why
All stinking, not showering, smelling like patchouli. They got underarm hair and big beaver bushes. Them hippie bitches are gross.
I've stayed really alone. But also it's been
Hairy legs.
very good for me to learn self-value and have a psychological cleansing, so that I can just be able to function without the constant self-questioning that I was programmed to have from childhood.
He was programmed to have constant self-questioning. Okay. Can't hang out with a chick with a boyfriend because they get
This was
jealous.
a girl who was blonde and very beautiful, who was
Seems that Wilcock has problems with every woman he has in a relationship with, and they end up running far from him.
hitting on me at the time when I was at the farm living in this barn. Maybe that's another
David Wilcock living in a barn. You're going to be living in a barn again, dude.
reason why the tapes
Because
have
the
been
grift is drying up. It's all going away. You know how last year he made 258,000. This year you might only make 150,000, and then the year after that you might make 50.
blocked. I haven't been
He will never walk away from the grift. So as long as he could, support himself at all and remain non-homeless, the grift will continue.
describing. So just so that we're clear, the Marcia situation was very strange.
His girlfriend's name was Marcia.
She was a beautiful woman. I met her at the fellowship.
She was a blonde woman named Marcia. Did he watch too much Brady Bunch when he was a kid and have a crush on Marcia?
And she wanted me to do mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. She wanted me to trip with her.
So she was a crystal hippie bitch. She was probably all hairy and smelly. They all smell like patchouli and shit, or jasmine oil. They don't shower. They got hairy legs, big beaver bushes, right? That's David Wilcock's type, big beaver bush bitches.
And at the time, I'd been sober for years and years and years. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do drugs. And she seemed to really resent me for that. So I got her a job at the farm. She ended up painting in the barn. And once I got her the job, she started doing the silent treatment. It just got very, very creepy and weird. She wouldn't talk to me at all. And if I made any attempt to start conversation, she would just cut me down. She'd either not say anything or she'd make some terrible, sarcastic, cutting remark. And then finally,
some chick was mean to David
she started
Wilcock.
hitting on other guys who worked at the farm right in front of me.
Good. Yeah,
And-
she probably saw some manly, muscular men and was like, why do I want to bang this pasty, loser? I'll get me a manly man and give me a good banging. And remember, in case you're unaware, David Wilcock basically has said that he's allergic to vagina. When he gets near vagina, he gets physically ill. If you get physically ill being around a woman's vagina, you may be a homosexual. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It got everybody upset, and I was still trying to see if I could make it work with her. And she created so much bad blood. She got everybody pissed off. She was mean to everybody. She was yelling at people. She was creating fights. She just turned into such a crazy villain. It was horrible.
Notice he's got a lot of villains in his life, chief among them me.
And in fact, she's going to turn into a werewolf in one of these dreams, or vampire, actually. So that was a big
Maybe she was a goth girl.
lesson in that, just because a woman looks great doesn't mean she's going to treat you great. Doesn't mean that you're going to get along. Doesn't mean that it's anything other than a living hell. And that was my first exposure to that, of which I've had many others.
Yeah. Did you listen? Listen to what he just said. He just said that being with a woman is a living hell. Being with a woman is a living hell. Just from the same guy who said that when he gets near a vagina, he gets physically ill. Being with a woman is a living hell. And being near a vajayjay makes him ill. Wow. Yeah, this is something else, right?
If I wanted this grant that would pay for my life, I had to continue moving further
This
south.
dude has a dream and he makes slides about it. So he has something to grift off of, I guess.
Well, this is going to talk about Stavatti getting money from India. And the moving is not actually south, it's to India. Well, going to India to see where we're going to build our facilities. This was a serious thing, the pressure to move. And again, I should have highlighted this. The grant that would pay for my life is the Stavatti investment that they're going to make.
Nobody's making an investment. You're being sued by a previous investor.
So I will likely be moving from here for Stavatti. In other words, I'm not going to be in this cabin a whole lot longer. I'm going to have to pick up and move again.
Oh, poor guy. He's going to have to move from his log cabin mansion. He's going to have to move from his log cabin mansion, right?
My grandfather, Papa.
More prophetic dreams. How? Just look at this. How does this shit mean anything? My brother and I ended up getting stuck in Nana and Papa's house. They weren't around, but we were really in trouble. We couldn't get out of there. All the doors seemed unable to open. We found a gun, but we couldn't get it to fire. Abuse apparently occurred at this house. Abuse occurred at this house? Is he accusing his own grandparents of being abusive towards him? So did David Wilcock's gramps know that they were trying to take his butt? Did his grandpa set him up? Did Maxwell watch? Was his gramps the old man that would come to him at night and take him out of the house? Oh, that's gross.
He worked for Disney, and he was designing the animatronics at Disney World, and they took me down there, and they had this weird ceremony in a big round room where they gave me this puzzle and refused the puzzle, and they all started laughing.
So apparently his grandpa pimped him out at Disneyland.
Very sarcastically, I said, why don't you give it to the other children? I already had one of these. That's the only time I ever saw these people. Ghislaine was probably in that crowd.
Oh my God, he was in the same crowd as Ghislaine Maxwell as a child when he was at Disneyland. Come on.
Out in 2022.
It's getting a little thick in here. I need waiters to get through this BS.
In 1983, or 84, I guess, which was the year that I went there. So yeah, I think that these people were hypnotizing me, and I think that there was all this stuff going on that I couldn't remember. It involved UFOs and reptilians, and my grandfather never let on that any of this stuff was happening.
Oh, he's talking about when he was butt banged by reptilian aliens.
In the regular world.
Yeah, he actually said he was butt banged by reptilian aliens.
But when you go through my dreams, there's all kinds of dreams where he's evil. There was no indication of that in my regular world. That's why this really shocked me, and I didn't even learn about it until I was 50 years old.
Wow.
Michael told me in the Michael prophecies we talk about this. So
the angel told him that his grandpa was a member of the Dark Alliance. Okay. All right.
And we get a few orders. I make like maybe $1,000 when
he makes $1,000 a week just from the book. It's digital, so that would be 100% profit. So he's making $1,000 selling his fake angel book, and he's still crying that he's broke and he can barely survive.
We get a few orders. I make like maybe $1,000 when I do this. It's not that much, but it helps. And we get
$1,000, friends. It's not that much. Can I get $1,000 super chat? Because I think
this
it is
the
that
Alliance's
much.
This is the Alliance's main voice. They've already proven themselves. We've been doing this for a whole year.
So Macario clipped in the screenshots. David Wilcock has been sharing the Shadows of Ezra Q-Tard Twitter account, claiming that that was the Alliance's communications director, and he was communicating directly to David Wilcock. And in the messages, Shadows of Ezra says, once again, I have nothing to do with David Wilcock. I don't even know who he is. He sounds crazy. Or he sounds insane.
Here now since last February, and they are giving you the updates in real time. This is the Alliance.
Yes, the Alliance that doesn't know who he is. Sure, David Wilcock. The Alliance that doesn't know who you are.
I think I do know. I think that it all got grifted. They call me a grifter. Stephen calls me a grifter. That's his favorite insult.
Yes, you are a grifter. And I say, guilty of grifting. David Wilcock is a guilty grifter.
I think I do know. I think that it all got grifted. They call me a grifter. Stephen calls me a grifter. That's his favorite insult.
Like I said, I have fully infected him with the Truth Seeker's Mind virus. You notice how many times he's mentioning me a stream now? It's got to be 4 or 5 times a stream.
This is just art, and it's science, and it's given to you. And if you want to donate, you can. If not, it's free. So,
it's not science. It's fake science. It's pseudoscience, you dummy.
Other than watching a few ads, you can skip in 5 seconds. That's not grift.
Yeah, that is grift. When you're lying to people on a public live stream, telling them that you're talking to angels and you have all these prophecies and psychic predictions and none of them ever come true, and you're selling a $333 book full of nonsense you claim comes from an angel, but you can't prove it comes from an angel. And in fact, we know because of the test of a prophet, it couldn't be coming from an angel because the angel's already given you totally incorrect predictions and information already. In his first book, the angel tells him that Corey Good's information was correct. A few days after that, those depositions got released in which Corey Good admits that all of his information was fake, or a great deal of it. Angels would not give false information, David. You're not speaking to an angel. So, yeah, it's a grift. All right. All right, let's see, we're going to miss some. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay.
The infamous 10 days
Now he's sharing Q-Tard Telegram posts again.
of darkness post scare tactics, and they are falling.
Yes. Macario points out, didn't this idiot David Wilcock already say that the 10 days of darkness started over a week ago? The 10 days are already over from what he said. Department of Defense social media was down for 10
So again,
days.
it may take 10 days once the, you know,
Oh, those mass arrests are coming again, David
the
Wilcock?
stage is being set. Everybody's learning the truth at the same time. When it leads to the exposure of the truth, then you're going to get the arrests.
Oh, the mass
And then
arrests
it's gonna take
again.
10 days.
He's been promising mass arrests are happening any day now since 1998. He once even said the mass arrests already happened, and there was cargo ships full of prisoners heading to Guantanamo Bay. None of that happened.
And it might involve emergency messages on your phone. It might involve seeing activity out on the street.
God,
It'll
I
give you
can't.
numbers you can call.
Yeah, he's said this so many times, and it never, ever happens. It never, ever happens.
Hi, Mr. Wilcock. Are you mad at Corey Good? No, I'm not mad at him.
This is interesting.
I think he's going through a very rough situation right now. He does have a show coming out pretty soon. It's going
Pretty soon. He's been working on this show for years, and actually, Detractors beat him to make a documentary about all of this. And Corey Good is the villain in that story.
to expose the people who stalked him and me. So I didn't participate in it, but in some ways I'm glad that, you know, he's going to talk about this horrible, horrible stuff that we've gone through, because nobody deserves to be treated like this, you know. But again,
Yes, they've gone through horrible stuff. Like, I released those depositions proving that they grifted and stole millions of dollars from stupid people for years for fake secret space stories. That's what the horrible things they've been going through are.
again, it's a complex situation as a result of the deposition video leaking, where he appeared to say that, you know, he made it all up. He
He didn't appear to say. He did say he made it all up, Wilcock.
didn't really go to space. He had told me he was going to say that before. It was his legal strategy, but unfortunately,
Yes, and for those unaware, Corey Good thought that those depositions would never be released to the public. But they were public record, and I published them.
whether that was
See, that's why I've infected David Wilcock with the Truth Seeker's Mind virus, because he knows that by releasing those depositions, I destroyed his grifting partner's entire grift. And he knows that then I turned my attention to him.
what he said was real or not, it has essentially devalued what we did, because he said in court that he made it up. So look, he had to make that decision. Obviously, it was going to come out one way or another, such as from transcripts. So, you know, does that make me angry? Yeah, you could say it did, but I've gotten over it. We've talked about it.
No, he immediately invented a whole new grift. As soon as the Corey Good grift went crashing down, immediately he moved on to the Archangel Michael is giving me sacred knowledge to sell to stupid people for $333 grift. And by the way, TikTok, David Wilcock, because you only got until May 31st for this angel grift, because he said the Archangel Michael said there'd be open extraterrestrial contact by May of 2025, and there would be ascension by May of 2025. And when that doesn't happen, he's going to have to admit that he just grifted everybody again. And this grift will come crashing down, and then he'll do the Cosmic Con shuffle, which is to shuffle away for a little while. Hope everybody forgets that he just got caught lying to people for years and collecting all this money for fake angel prophecies.
And I do think that certain aspects of what he said were, you know, as Chris Beskar has said, he was in the vicinity of truth.
The vicinity of truth.
So anyway, you know, what can you do? I mean, I believed everything was going on was true. I was not in collusion with him.
According to their one-time producer, Jay Widener, these two did collude together to make up fake stories. And he on the record said that they made up the last season of the so-called Cosmic Disclosure show. They just made it all up. They would work together before they started filming. You say this, I'll say that.
I believe that he was having these experiences. They sounded very similar to what I already knew. And so when you make those kind of statements, you don't really get takebacks on something like that. That's the sad truth. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, where you're at right now is that grift came crashing down, so you moved on to a whole new grift. And he moved from the partner grift with Corey Good to the solo grift.
And this is why I want to help the military. I mean, I saw some people
Macario says, wouldn't you rather have David run the military company than anyone else?
in here trolling me about having a military company. I mean, come on. Somebody has to do this stuff, and wouldn't you rather it be me, because I'm as honest as it gets.
He's as honest as it gets. You're as honest. We catch you lying every week, bro. You're not honest.
I'm not going to rip anybody off.
I'm not going to rip anybody off, he says, as he's ripping people off for fake angel prophecies.
Charge as little as we can.
And he ripped people off for an anti-gravity course, and he ripped people off for ascension courses, and he ripped people off for secret space insider knowledge. But he's not going to rip anybody off. He's as honest as they come, friends.
And we're going to make sure.
I'm surprised he didn't bust out laughing while he was saying that.
That our country is safe. So if you have a problem with that, then, go ahead and walk out into the front lines over there in that small UK country. I'm sure they would love to have you. You can volunteer. They need soldiers.
Yeah.
So if you think
go be part of the meat grinder.
Stuff is so horrible, go out and fight.
And Kevin Alt says, Mr. Love and Light sells bombs. Yeah. Tell me how this makes any sense. He's talking to angels while he's selling bombs to kill people and missiles to kill people. But the angel isn't saying anything about, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't sell bombs to kill innocent people with, or dynamite.
Hi, David. Eva.
Oh, I forgot. I gotta check in with the live chat, and we'll get caught up on our super chat goals. Charles McDonald, one for the goal, $12. Nerds think tweets are a threat. Yeah, Charles McDonald. He's being terrorized by mean tweets. Don't minimize it. Flint Westwood with one for the goal, $2 says broke back UFO. Old Nosy with 5 and 1 for the goal claims to feel terrorized while he's literally pointing his high-tech missiles right at Steve from PA. He's even doxing or a location. Yeah, it's ridiculous, right? Love, light, and explosives, right? Thank you, Old Nosy, one for the goal. And Flint Westwood with another towards the goal. He's broke but pays for an Office subscription. Yeah, if you were that broke, you would use Open Office and stop paying for it. Abraham M. says, you're afraid of girls anyway. Griftcock. I'm afraid of one girl, my wife, That's a true statement. Listen, I will be a man and admit my wife scares me. She is scary. She's little, but she's scrappy. And she always gets her way, one way or the other. And she could destroy my entire life with that D word, divorce. I'm afraid of her. That's the only woman I've ever been afraid of in my life, right? Oh, no, I had some psycho girlfriend once. I was a little afraid of her. But I'm not, that girl was like afraid I would wake up with like a gun to my head, kind of crazy. So my wife's not like that, but still she's scary. Charles McDonald with 13 towards the goal. That's what happens when that's what happens to your forehead on coke. All right. Thank you, Charles. And Old Nosy with 5 for the goal. Taking the grift to India. Time to run a call center scamming grandmas for their credit cards and social security numbers. That's going to be next. Thank you, Old Nosy. And Gom, I think that is GHOM with 10 towards the goal. Bro's hair is sick of listening to this BS and is leaving. Yeah, it's leaving the top of his head, right? His hair's trying to escape his head. The lies are toxic to his hair follicles. Detective Bloor with a kind of generous 5 towards the goal. I was in his chat dunking on him for over an hour and no one was around to put me in a timeout. He was having a really bad time. He's broke. He's bald. It's true. He's broke and he's bald, friends. He is broke. He is broke and he is bald. He's broke and bald. All right. And another for the goal, Old Nosy. Let's go. Look at him. Literally felted. Yeah, he is beaten and defeated, my friends. Yes.
3 says, donate $100. I came across someone claiming Stavatti might be scamming you. What are your thoughts on this? Yes. This is all the work of one kid. His name is Steve.
How many times did he mention me? Oh, David Wilcock, you and I are going to be best friends. Me and David Wilcock, we're going to be best friends. Yeah, I'm going to need 200 more super chats of $5 or more to put on the vest. Exactly, Seahouse. Thank you for that. So, David Wilcock, we're going to be best friends, right? When you get up in the morning, your first thought, your very first thought is going to be, God damn, that's Steven from Pennsylvania guy, right? Before you go to bed at night, your last thought will be me, just in your noggin, bro. I'm just in your skull. I'm just trapped there. And my mind virus has been injected. So we'll be best friends. We'll have you get up in the morning. When you have your coffee, you'll be thinking about me. When you eat your lunch, you'll be thinking about me. When you have your dinner, you'll be steaming over me. And that's my will. And that's the way it's going to be, David Wilcock. That's my will, and that's the way it's going to be.
He lives in Pennsylvania. We know who he is, and we are going to be suing the crap out of him.
Oh, now he's suing the crap out of me. Oh, no.
Okay, and that's coming very soon. I've already written a lot of it. It's very, very...
Yeah, and for those unaware, I've already written my first motion to dismiss. And the case will get thrown right out because I live in a very strong anti-SLAPP state. He can't sue me for just expressing my opinion on the internet. He has to prove malice and that I said something I knew was totally factually inaccurate. If all I'm doing is making fun of the guy and fact-checking and showing everybody how much he lies, you can't sue me for that, David Wilcock. But
frustrated.
Good luck. He could spend $20,000, $30,000 to get a lawyer to write a lawsuit like that. And then I will spend nothing and file my anti-SLAPP motion to dismiss, and it'll get instantly dismissed.
And there is no scam. We're about to get funded. You don't scam out making stuff like this. I print on my own 3D printer, okay?
Yeah, I printed on my own 3D printer. You don't scam, right? No, if it wasn't a scam, you could show us a real plane, David Wilcock, you dumb son of a bitch. If it wasn't a scam, you could show us flight tests. You could show us the sensor data from all of your testing of the airplane. And see, that's another thing. Does he even know anything about aviation? You can't just make airplanes and start selling it to people. It's highly regulated industry. They're going to have to show years of flight testing before you have to show years and years and years of data and flight testing and safety testing before you can manufacture and sell an aircraft. He doesn't even know that. How is he on the board of an aviation company that doesn't know that, but I do? Maybe because my father was heavily involved in aviation, you dumbass.
This is a real company. And I do not believe he is acting on his own. This is the DS working through him in some capacity to find out what it is.
Oh, this is the deep state.
And he's going to have to confess. So,
what's he going to do? Waterboard me? Do you hear him? He's going to force me to tell who's paying me, and now he's going to have to confess.
It is, and he's going to have to confess.
Oh, so I'm going to have to confess.
It's very, very sad, but thank you for donating.
Yeah, I can't wait for that jury and judge because, and you don't want to tempt the fate and welcome something like a lawsuit because it's just a pain it's a pain. I don't want to deal with that. But, my opening statement to the judge and the jury is going to be, you can't trust anything this man says because he also says that an angel told him to take a bath in his own piss to get superpowers, and he did that. This man is insane, and no one on the jury or the judge or anyone in this court should believe anything he says because he's telling people, hundreds of thousands of people, that an angel told him to get in a bathtub and piss in it, and then he would get superpowers. And he claims he did that, and he did get superpowers, Your Honor.
There is no scam. Believe me, we have our own facility. We have lots of prototypes.
There is no scam. Then why did one of your investors sue your company and call it a, quote, investment scam and Ponzi scheme? If there's no scam, give the investor their millions of dollars back.
They've already been digitally...
Sorry, the investor invested $1 million, and they were supposed to give him $5 million back. Not only did they not give him $5 million back, they never gave him the original $1 million, his seed investment back.
flown. It's so silly. I will be so happy when we finally actually get money and all this can be put to rest, and that's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, it's been coming very, very soon for 3 years, David Wilcock. And I truly believe that what's happening here is that David Wilcock really did give this shady company $1.5 million. That's what he said he gave them, something like that. And he's just another investor that they're stringing along and telling stories to. But Wilcock is so gullible, he's believing the stories.
The last time I had a boyfriend was in 2016. Last time I had a boyfriend was yesterday, sweetie. Oh my God. I just have to say that, when we go out to the club, you got to be really careful because there's all these creepy things going on right now.
Anybody think that that's his true self and it's not a joke? That's really how he is in real life. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Boo, Steven sucks. Absolutely. I mean, this one kid has ruined my life. I mean, he really has caused us incredible amounts of damages. It's definitely going to be a very intense lawsuit when it comes out.
He said, I'm ruining his life. I got to hear this again.
Steven sucks. Absolutely. I mean, this one kid has ruined my life. I mean, he really has caused us incredible amounts of damages.
Yeah, I'm really, see, here's where he's telling the truth. I'm affecting the grift. The money's drying up because even his dumb as rocks followers are finding me and watching a few Wilcock episodes going, oh, he really isn't talking to angels. He really doesn't know how to make anti-gravity craft and free energy engines. He's just scammed everybody. And why did I give him money? So people are stopping giving him so much money. That's what he's talking about. I'm not ruining his life. I'm ruining his grift. And, the grift must go on for this clown. He hasn't had a real job in 20 years, this guy. Yeah, great.
It's definitely going to be a very intense lawsuit when it comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be an intense lawsuit. But then the minute you file it, I will get it dismissed due to the anti-slap statutes in my state. And there's also journalist shield laws. And, I have multiple layers of protection against this clown. So it is what it is. I don't welcome it, but I got to say that if he is stupid enough to do that, I will aggressively defend my position. Aggressively.
They have a negative biased post about this particular individual, BN, and this makes it very clear. Describe him in one word. You can see the bias because he's got a very, very evil look on his face. And again, people were saying the devil, Satan, psychopath, horror, evil. I mean, I read the comments and almost everybody was down on him. So they're making it very clear. No, don't freak out. We haven't cut some deal, and it's not like everything is, whipsawed on you. Just relax. It's all going to be fine.
I don't even know what he's talking about here. He's talking about Q-tard nonsense, though. It's Q-tard nonsense. That much I know.
I'm willing to risk my life to do power plants and hover cars. We are not a scam. We are not a fake company. We've been approved by all the agencies that we need to be approved. I'm willing to risk my life to do power plants and hover cars. We are.
He's risking his life to build power plants and hover cars.
Not a scam. We are not a fake company. We've been approved by.
Listen, if you were a real company, you wouldn't have to constantly tell people that your company's not a scam. First of all. And here in this next line, he lies through his fake teeth because he says, we've been approved. They're trying to sell ammunition and they don't have a federal firearms license that would enable them to sell ammunition. So they haven't been approved by federal agencies.
By all the agencies that we need to be approved by.
Yeah. Where's your federal explosives license, David Wilcock, that enables you to sell dynamite and bombs and mortar shells and missiles and rockets? Where's that license? Where's the federal firearms license that enables you to sell ammunition? You said you've been approved. Were you approved for those? Show them on your live stream. Why don't you make a slide of that? That's the slide that people want to see. The proof that you guys aren't a scam. Show the federal firearms license.
Well, just this one guy.
Oh, 1 second here. Oh, I was wondering what happened. Hold on 1 second here. We're going to switch gears here in just a moment. 1 second. All right, let me hold my place here. Bear with me, friends. All right, so in the lead up tonight, I talked about how there is a YouTube content creator and UFO Twitter guy, Red Panda Koala, friend of the show, who is driving David Wilcock crazy. And this is going to drive David Wilcock even crazier, knowing that there is a direct association between me, his critic that is wrecking his life and terrorizing him, and another person that is somehow infected David Wilcock's brain with another mind virus. He's got multiple mind viruses now. And that person is Red Panda Koala. And so you guys know I took some time off of this. And then I'm looking on Twitter and I'm like, oh my God, David Wilcock is freaking out about Red Panda Koala, which I think is hysterical. So let's bring him in here. There we
Hello,
go.
can you hear me? Sorry, yeah, I'm doing no camera, but can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll try to find your avatar and put it up there for you. No problem.
Sweet.
I should have done that already. I apologize. So listen, tell us a little bit about this, but then we'll play the clip of what he's talking. What is going on, Red Panda? What is he talking about?
It was hilarious. One of my friends hit me up and was like, "Dude, David Wilcock's raging about you." And at first I thought he was just joking, but yeah, and as we're gonna see, it's really funny because his mind can't comprehend that I'm not like super grifting like he does. You know what I mean?
He's like, oh, wait a minute. This guy's got to be a grifter. This guy's got to be a grifter because I am. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he self-reports in it, it seems like. You know what I mean? You could see where his brain is, but it's pretty funny. And then yeah, he did bring you up too, which is pretty funny that we're friends with each other, we've known each other for a minute, and he called you a terrorist and whatnot. Crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely well, we were joking. I'm terrorizing him with the truth. Like fact checking him is terrorism to him. But this is the same guy that thinks mean tweets are death threats, right? Like he literally thinks that mean tweets are death threats, that they equate somehow.
And he's falsely accused you of a bunch of stuff, right, too. So it's like I feel like he's throwing a lot of stuff at you, telling his big audience that you're these kind of dangerous, nasty things. He knows what he's doing when he does that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I got this clip I'm gonna share of him talk. I almost fell off my chair. Were you surprised that you were on the David Wacky World of Wilcock?
It was like 3 episodes in a and I think it's because I've been going hard with the clipping, especially because they kicked me off of YouTube. Either it's probably the loophole or something, so I'm all activated right now. And yeah, I mean, I just there's a bunch of clips there, so I feel like it's almost his way of coping with the fact that like we're doing free work for you, Wilcock. Like he's super happy to use the clips I clip, but he has to throw in some little like thing, right? Like it's funny, yeah.
All right, we're gonna play these because this is crazy. Yeah, let's
RPK,
Red Panda Koala,
which is this very strange name to say the least. This is from the very inappropriately named Red Panda Koala. We'll get into what Red Panda is in a minute. The Red Panda. What the hell is the Red Panda? Oh, okay. Nobody gets 2.1 million views. And it's something very suspect. Clearinghouse for the intelligence community, RPK, posted this story. We're getting massive numbers of views, which is probably because they're paying to tweak the algorithm. Here we go again. RPK. I don't want to keep saying it. Planting a narrative. I think the RPK post is a part of it. So let's get back to RPK for a minute because they talked about, once again, we got the dreaded RPK intelligence product. I'm very
he swears on
that.
Deep State.
And even the name of the guy that planted it.
I say you make those posts.
What does that particular bear indicate? Well, you don't even want this same. I'm not going to keep saying it because it's disgusting, but RPK, the same post that's got like, I don't know, 100 posts. I don't think this is a real person. I think this is the IC or the intelligence community. That's just my theory.
You're not a real person.
Now, but whatever.
Oh my God.
Very suspect. Everything about this channel is very suspect. And again, RPK, who nobody's ever heard of, and person's not using a name because it's probably the intelligence community.
This is stupid, right? Nobody's ever heard of you.
Yeah, that's another narrative too. This other person was kind of saying that, and it's like, I've been making UFO stuff since 2018,
Yeah,
2019 on X.
it's fair to say that anybody that's interested in UFOs knows who Red Panda Koala is. So nobody knows who you are. What he's trying to diminish you somehow,
Yeah, but still
right? And
using all the content though, right?
yeah, I don't
You see how he
understand.
does that?
He's content farming while he's busting your balls. You want to send him a message that you don't want him using your content anymore if he's gonna spread misinformation and false accusations about you. That's such a shitty thing to do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it actually is pretty shitty, but I do find it hilarious. So I'm probably just gonna, unless he goes crazier. But this is honestly a kind of a free ad. Once he gets to the part about like how I'm not a grifter, it's like free advertising. So yeah.
Let's see the rest
2.1
here.
million views? Right. The overnight success, they paid for those views. This is not real, folks. That's the rules. They have to tell you what they're doing. So if they're going to set something up where they want to destroy the planet, they use the code names and then they're laughing at you because, oh yeah, red panda, red panda.
It's classic. I want to destroy the
Ain't nothing
planet.
good about the red panda. This is again the RPK, which I don't even want to say it out loud. I think this is sponsored disinformation.
Yeah, he pissed me off because for a long time he kept talking about me, but he wouldn't say my name. I guess he thinks if he doesn't say the name, I don't understand this not saying the name, right? Like he can't say your name, but he can share it on the screen and people can read the name.
Well, he does get into that a little later because he thinks there's a term like panda eyes, I guess, which is kind of gross and relates to like child trafficking stuff. But
so of course he made that connection.
How about now?
No, you're fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he thinks it's like some child trafficking term, but he's like a red panda is an animal, and then like a panda is an animal, like a black and white panda. So I think he's just not aware of like what a red panda is. So he's thinking of like a red version of a black and white panda. Super convoluted, but yeah.
Panda? I don't know. Yeah.
But he's also giving you real stuff. That's how they lure you in, is they make you think that it's a source of truth.
Yeah, well, of course, Red Panda, you're a disinformation agent. You know you got to give them a little bit of truth so that they believe the other misinformation, right?
Super coordinated.
Why is he sharing all your posts if you're a disinformation agent? This doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Oh, God, he's so weird.
But then the redness and this particular bear, it's very, very sketchy to say the least. And it's, again,
it's sketchy, RPK.
Huge numbers of views, hundreds of posts a day. It does not look like a regular person because regular people want credit. They use their face. They use their name. They want you to donate to them. Why would this person be getting so many views and have no payment plan, no Patreon, no products that he's selling? He's not.
He's so shocked that you're not grifting off of this, RPK.
Such a self-report there, right?
You must be CIA. You're not grifting. How, dude? You gotta grift, RPK. You can't do this and not grift, right? Like,
yeah, he's telling you where his mind is with all this stuff.
Convinced you're CIA because you don't have a PayPal and you're not begging constantly for donations. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
Selling survival supplies. I used to be able to pay $500 and I could get my post seen by a lot of people.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites where he's like, he's not even selling survival supplies. Like,
yeah,
you can't trust this guy.
You can't trust this guy. He's not selling, My Patriot supplies. And also, he admits that he was botting his views before. He just admitted, I used to be able to pay $500 and get views. Those are bots.
Yeah, that was hilarious too. Yeah,
that's botting. So he's admitting that he has in the past botted his posts.
Which I've never done, by the way. He throws that
I have never done that either. Now, I would never buy subscribers, buy views, buy engagement because it's artificial and it doesn't. I always look. There was a point, RPK, where I was doing social media management for people, and you'd be amazed at how many like music artists wanted me to just bot their views, and I would always try to talk to them out of it. Like, it doesn't matter if you get 100,000 views on your music video. None of those bots are going to buy your album. oh no, but it looks good, dog. You know, like it looked like we're
Yeah.
ballers. Like it's so stupid. It does
And the
nothing for you.
self-report, $500 is a lot of freaking money. I feel like David Wilcock is actually making a lot of money. I think he did another post I saw where he said he made like 250,000 in a year or something. Like,
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, bro.
he,
I wish I was making that on this.
yeah, but the best is, last year I only made $258,000. It's not a lot of money. I was barely able to survive on 258,000. And
Oh,
in the Corey Good court deposition, Corey Good said that David Wilcock made millions of dollars off of just one of his courses. Millions of dollars. So there must be some pretty stupid.
wow. Yeah. And 500,
So,
like he said there, he self-reported. That's a lot of money to just throw at bot followers. And it sounds like he's done it plenty of times over
oh
the
yeah,
years.
there was a time where he was botting live viewers when he was involved with the Falun Gong cult and at those Edge of Wonder boys that were owned by the Falun Gong cult. They were botting the hell out of his views. And so one time in his live chat, all the names were like "sexy for you," you know, like "hot girl," and all this stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
And then all the names changed to like crystal hippie bitch appropriate names, you know, like truth teller or like sacred knowledge. They all changed, so we know he was botting. And what the hell is this? Red Panda could be a bloodied abuse victim. What does that
Yeah.
even
So that's
mean?
what that's. So, I mean, I could break it down. So what he's referring to is there's this like term of like panda eyes, where basically when kids get trafficked and all that stuff happens, you know, it's really gross. It's really just hopefully people can understand what I'm saying there. But yeah, he's taking it as like a bloodied version of the panda eyes trope, which again, like I said earlier, it's not. It's a red
It's
panda is
gross
its
for him
own
to
animal.
associate you with that. You know,
Yeah, it's really gross, right?
he called me a child predator with no evidence. So everybody, I don't understand how quick, you know, that's something that you shouldn't be throwing around accusations of people being child predators. He doesn't even know
Exactly.
you. He doesn't know me. You know, like this is crazy to just
And it's
accuse
like if he
somebody.
thought I was that, he'd be acting a little different, right? It's
Yeah,
almost
why
like
are
he's
you
laughing
sharing his
about it.
posts if you think he's
Yeah,
super evil? Like, come on, David Wilcock. I said at the beginning of the show, RPK, just for the benefit of David Wilcock, that you're CIA and I'm your boss. So I sent you to make those posts, and we set this whole thing up just so that David Wilcock could catch you, right?
he
Which
covers this. I
he's a,
hope he's like, look at
he's
guys,
he's
they're
a
connected.
He's a super genius. Yeah, we're connected. His biggest critic in the world and you are connected directly.
It could very well refer to a bloodied abuse victim. He's just getting massive amounts of traffic, and he doesn't let you know who he is. And he's got this very sketched out name we talked about last week. So
He is seething because when he makes a post, he doesn't get near the views that you're getting, RPK. He is
Yeah.
seething. You've got to be a disinformation agent. Look at all those views. Jesus Christ.
I'm very
Yeah.
suspect of this. However, he's going to feed you things that are true. So here it is again, RPK, 1.7 million views. Part of why I suspect this page is just to find this dude on January 24th. I had to scroll and scroll. I mean, they post so many times a day.
Yeah. And here, RPK, he doesn't understand that you are a grinder, right? That you work hard at what you do.
Yeah.
This dude works 5 hours a week. He can't imagine sitting on Twitter, finding content, clipping clips, making posts for 8 hours a day. That he would die of exhaustion for one day of RPK's grind, right? Isn't this
Yeah.
crazy? Like he can't imagine. You've got to be a whole team of CIA people to be posting so much, RPK.
Yeah. And then
You
still
can't-
using all the
Real?
clips too, which is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, and making all those
So
clips.
many times a day. And they're getting enormous amounts of views, which is what you have to do if you want to get those views. You got to feed people like they're little children, and you just constantly give them candy and lure them into the car. Come on.
Well, that means you're doing a great job, RPK. You're luring them viewers like kids with candy.
That's
I think
also
that's
a kind
good
of sketch
analogy.
thing to say for himself. Like that's the analogy. Like I think he's about to say, like, "Come here, little kid." Like
Yeah.
very weird.
Dude, if anybody has an R van, it's David Wilcock. Oh my
You're a
God.
little kid. Woo! Who's one of the number one UFO guys besides Greer? Me. There's not very
LOL,
many
this
of
is
us. There's
hilarious.
Louis Elizondo, there's Stephen Greer, David Wilcock. These are top names.
No, he's not been a top name in a long time. Don't you think there is a general and listen, this will help be an educating moment for him, RPK. Am I correct if I say this statement? Most people who are interested in UFOs instantly consider David Wilcock a disgraced grifter, scumbag, liar, and
Yeah,
would not trust that he has any real or accurate information about UFOs or aliens. Is that an accurate statement in your opinion in the UFO community?
I would say so, but also at the same time, and he might be getting bot followers. He has like big reach. Like his channel's huge. You know what I mean?
Half a million subs, yeah.
Yeah, but definitely not. Honestly, definitely not like Greer level, Elizondo level, and the way he just casually throws himself like, "Yeah, we're the top 3 names." I just also found that hilarious, so I had to include that in there.
Because generally, even people that believe some of those other grifters, they really, like I hear all the time, like, oh, leave David. Everybody knows David Wilcock is a liar and a scammer. Like he has no real information because he's been caught so
Yeah,
many
true.
times with
Like even the
fake
Luke crew,
shit.
right, with all the lies that Lou's done, it's like Wilcock's
Yeah,
too
they
much.
still Wilcock is too much. He's too wacky, even for people who believe that aliens are flying around in our skies every day.
And we're all kind of doing our own things. And now there's a big feud going on between Elizondo and Greer. And Elizondo says Greer is a terrorist, and they're fighting each other. Ufology is very much like rap. Everybody's like dissing other rappers, dissing other MCs. And I'm used to it by now. But again, nobody has ever been stalked as badly as I have been by this one guy, Steven, who is now committing acts of terrorism.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I am
Terrorism.
going to speak directly to you, David Wilcock. Listen to Leon Isaac Kennedy's
Nice. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, classic moment in ufology. I loved it. Honestly, like it was hilarious. So thank you, David. That was great.
Yeah, well, once he figures out that the two of us are directly connected, boy, his conspiracy brain is going to melt, RPK. And that's why I wanted you to come on so that I can jam it in David Wilcock's ass. Hey, David Wilcock, I'm the one putting him up to all those posts you're sharing on your show like an idiot. I'm a CIA handler.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's funny.
Did your phone blow up when this started happening? And were you like, what the what? David
Yeah,
Wilcock
and a few people DM me. I thought they were talking about someone else because I know he's been talking about you for a while. So I was like, you mean he's talking about Cambion? And then someone sent me a clip. It was really funny.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Gosh, well, I appreciate you hopping on here real quick. I got to get through to another 85 clips. We're 2 weeks behind, so
yeah. Well, thank you, Steven. That was hilarious. I'm glad we're tied in this lore together now for David Wilcock's mind.
Yes, and I'm going to send you new posts and new clips that you could post to drive him crazy. That's what our goal is. We want to drive him insane. I won't be happy until he ends up in the rubber room, right?
He's accused us both of already crazy stuff. Yeah,
he's saying that people are using weather weapons against him now. That's what he said on his last week's live stream. That people.
Do you think he believes that, or he's just BSing for his audience? He doesn't believe that, right?
I don't know. I think he believes everything. He's just so gullible. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Does he believe this shit, or is he just making this shit up? Because he's always under constant attack. Now he's under weather weapons attack. You know why? Because there was 30-mile-an-hour winds at his house, RPK. That couldn't be natural. It had to come from a CIA weather weapon. So listen,
LOL.
you tell the weather weapon team to crank that shit up next week, right when he's live streaming. Okay, we'll get him.
Will do. But yeah, thank you, Steven. I'll catch you around.
All right.
Peace out.
Thank you, RPK. All right, we just wanted to have RPK bounce in and out of here because it will melt David Wilcock's brain, and I'm all about melting David Wilcock's brain. Old Nosy with a kind and generous $2, one for the goal. Gabe Hoffman should invest in Stavatti. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate your kindness. We'll see if we can't catch up with the super chats. For those unaware, I read every single super chat. The Secret to Everything by Kimberly McGeorge, longtime show supporter with a kind and generous $19.99. Very kind of you, and just says thanks. No, thank you. Thanks for appreciating us. We certainly appreciate you. Troll, in your face, Midnight Mark, with a kind and generous 5 and 1 towards the goal. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. Longtime show supporter, Troll. Praise the cash. Says, oh boy, how do I even say that one? Akio042 or Aceo042. Thank you for your kindness. That's another one towards the goal. For those unaware, we have a goal tonight of 50 super chats, any denomination. And we want to thank you all for helping us to praise the cash. Kind and generous folks everywhere.
Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash.
All right. So I'm just going to check in with the goal. We're at 37 to 50, so we need 13 more kind and generous friends. And we're going to go back to our clips here. We've got a lot of clips to get through still because we're doing a double shot. For those unaware, we missed covering one of his streams, and we are now busily trying to catch up with his streams. One moment here. Cumberland. Okay, let's see. How do we pronounce it? AkZ is how I pronounce my username. AkZ. All right, I'll try to remember that. Why don't you just spell it AKZEE? There must be some significance. I get it. All right, thank you. And everybody's always free to correct me. If I read your name wrong, then you can give me the pronunciation. Just put it in all capital letters. And let's get back to the wacky world of Wilcock here.
Who's constantly out there trying to say con artist, grifter, scam, etc. But we are suing him, and he knows it. And, you know, if he gives us some names, we might be a little lighter on him. He's going to have to do that.
I got to give him names. I have to confess to David Wilcock. Wilcock is risking his life to bring the world hover cars. Does anyone know what engines Stavatti got, what agencies Stavatti got approvals from? He's a moron. Yes.
And it is coming. And you'll see everything once we get there. So,
okay, so he's threatening once again to sue me and get me arrested and get me interrogated. And yeah.
$300, something to keep the lights on. I'm looking forward to buying my Stavatti Roadster SPP. Can anyone figure out what SPP means? I don't know.
Some idiot just sent him $300. Wow.
Yeah. So
David Wilcock, you should get on your hands and knees and thank God every day that there's so many stupid people on YouTube, stupid people in your life.
We are going to be selling a beautiful, looks like a Ferrari, Porsche, or Lamborghini. That deal is moving forward. We're waiting for the end of Chinese New Year, and that's actually like next week. Plus, we got the India deal. Plus, we got a Middle East deal. There's amazing things happening.
There's all these deals coming through. So he can stop begging for money then? No, he'll never stop begging for money.
3 different deals that are very, very huge. Again, thank you, Koyman. $300 is a one.
Yeah, and 2 of the 3 of those deals, he said the money was coming next week. It's next week, David Wilcock. Where's the money?
Donation, and I'm really grateful that you did that. UO Mark says, wow, thank you, Koyman, everyone so much for tremendously generous donations.
All right. That's great. That's just great. Okay, so this is the end of part 1, friends. We made it through part 1, and I was hoping to hit the 50 super chat goal by part 1, but I'm not a scumbag like Darkside Phil, so it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. These two videos are of him either promising a mass arrest. We've been over those many, many times. So. And here will be the first clip of the next set this is from his latest. Oh, look, we don't have many to get through. We don't have many to get through, friends. So the clips that we have just talked about were from his February 9th live broadcast. And these clips are from his February 16th live broadcast. So let's get into those.
I am under massive attack.
Oh, God, he's under massive attack. Oh, he's under massive attack.
I am under massive attack. This is clearly a directed attack. We had 27-mile-an-hour wind last night. I'm depressed.
And again, he's going to say that this is a directed weather attack, like somebody's controlling the weather and attacking him. And why? Because the wind was blowing at 27 miles an hour. So it couldn't be a natural wind. It would have to be like a HARP weather modification program to make that wind blow at 27 miles an hour. Does he even hear himself? My God, this guy sounds moronic.
I am under massive attack. This is clearly a directed attack.
Under massive attack by wind. Dude, go stand in front. If he stood in front of a fan, would he consider that a massive attack? What an idiot.
Attack. We had 27-mile-an-hour wind last night.
It's totally natural.
I'm depressed.
Not common, but it's natural.
I didn't get any sleep after 2 o'clock in the morning. I was just lying there. The wind has been incredibly violent.
He was lying there, unable to sleep, thinking about me wrecking his grift. That's what he was doing.
But at the same time, it's like wearing off right as we do the show.
He's always playing with his hair, worse than a woman, dude.
Let's see if I can fix this up a little bit.
Yeah, he's got to fix it up because it's all like he's half bald on the top of his head.
Yeah. Make it as wild as possible. So yeah, I have been outrageously suffering. I'm not happy.
He's been suffering because of 27-mile-an-hour winds. Am I wrong here in saying that like there's 27-mile-an-hour winds an awful lot? It's not an attack. It's not worthy of getting upset or being depressed about. It's just wind, David Wilcock. Like, what kind of a pussy are you that you're afraid of wind? And you say that you're under attack because wind. Jesus.
Don't really even want to be here right now. But you know what? Even if I'm in a shitty mood, I do a great show. That's the way I roll. And I'll get into it pretty quick. But yeah, this is obviously a targeted attack. It's obviously the result of weather manipulation.
He just said that he's the victim of a targeted weather modification attack because wind was blowing at 27 miles an hour.
This is not normal at all. It's been so
It's
violent.
totally not normal that the wind could get up to a blazing, supernatural, unreal speed of 27 miles an hour.
It's been so crazy. I'm very upset. So
he's very upset. He's very upset because of the wind. Jeez.
So this is very serious. It's very real. The battle is incredibly deep.
Macario says he seems more messed up than usual. Yeah, a lot of people commented that on this last stream, which we're talking about now and sharing the clips from, that he really is starting to lose it.
Not
that he's ever like completely sane, but it seems like there is a marked deterioration the closer he gets to May, because he knows that this whole angel grift he can't grift off this angel shit after May.
I'm fighting for this show with everything I've got on 3 hours of sleep. It's freaking insane what happened last night. I mean, the smashing. I don't want to keep going through it. It's been very, very bad, you guys. Very, very bad. And I know that they did this on purpose. So this is
Somebody shared this. Anybody remember that movie Mask? That movie was so sad. That movie made me cry. I remember that was one of the first movies I remember seeing that made me cry. Let's go to the next clip.
The B-21 is $704 million.
Oh, here he's going to brag that his company can make all these airplanes super easy, right? They can make all these airplanes super easy and better and cheaper than anybody else. But they don't have any airplanes to show us because their company apparently been in business for 30 years. They're supposed to make airplanes, but they can't show us $1
billion. This is going to cost you 85, but it's actually better in every way. So we intend to have these go in mass production.
And by the way, the design of this one looks like it was stolen from Buck Rogers. I'm not kidding. Go look up Buck Rogers.
And it will be the fastest and best jet ever made. Our own airline and, aircraft manufacturers, there really is no competition. So
there's no competition. There's no aircraft manufacturers. There's aircraft manufacturers all over the world, you dummy.
This technology to get out there. It's a very fascinating thing that's going on. As you know, I've been anything but rich. I've been extremely broke.
$258,000 a year. He's broke and he can barely survive. He's broke. He's a brokey. That's why he's begging on the internet for fake angel prophecies, because he's broke. $258,000 a year and he's broke and constantly crying that he's broke. I don't know about you, friends, but if $258,000 a year was my income, you would never hear me complain that I'm broke. which begs the question: what does he spend all his money on? We know, according to him, that he wastes $25,000 a year so that he could live in a delusional fantasy world echo chamber where nobody can criticize him or ask him any tough questions. Imagine spending $25,000 a year so that people can't criticize you. Imagine the ego you must have to spend $25,000 a year so that you cannot be criticized on the internet.
For the last 3 years. Hopefully, we're going to get funded. This is about to
Oh,
change.
again, we're getting funded. It's about to change.
I did take out a small business loan because in the midst of everything else that's going on, I was horribly attacked with a 1-inch thick subpoena. They're still coming after us. They're still trying to drag this thing out and demand more information. They're asking questions. So we are very close to taking this to court.
Oh, he's going to go to court with Gaia TV. And for those unaware, Gaia TV has like $1 billion to spend on lawyers. They're like $1 billion company. And they're going after Corey Good, and he got subpoenaed, and he's going to have to testify about all that, and he doesn't want to.
I need $20,000 basically to do that.
Yeah, $20,000 isn't going to do anything against the might of $1 billion company that has unlimited money for lawyers, you dummy. $20,000? You think you're getting out of this for $20K, dude? You better start selling your blood plasma or something to get lawyer money, bro. And remember, he's going to spend $20,000 to get out of this Corey Good lawsuit trouble. How much is he spending or contributing to Stavatti to get out of all of the vendors that are suing them? How much is he contributing to Stavatti for lawyers for the case where the investor that gave him $1 million and never got his money back is suing them, calling them a quote Ponzi scheme and investment scam? But after all that, he's going to come up with money to also spend $20,000 or $30,000 to file a frivolous lawsuit against me, which will get instantly dismissed due to slap laws. This makes no sense, friends.
So I now have that from a
We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of legal expenses to cover all those things. But I don't think that he's covering all those things. I think Stavatti's on their own for those lawsuits.
business loan, and I'm ready to go if I have to. And in that motion to quash, we're going to blow the whole lid off of who this was, what happened to me, why we think they're doing this. So they would be very well advised to not keep escalating, but they are escalating, and I expect it's going to keep on going, and I expect I'm going to have to go to court, and we're just going to take it. But this is all,
I'm a little confused. It's like he's mixing the Gaia TV Corey Good being sued together with his claims that he's suing me, and he's going to do all of these great things with lawyers for $20,000. No, you won't. Not at $350 an hour, dummy.
It's the same thing with this one guy who keeps attacking our company.
I'm the guy.
We're fake.
Say my name, bitch. Say it.
We're going to be suing him too, and you're going to learn everything. When
Say
that
my
comes
name,
out.
bitch. Say it.
So yeah, the battle is very real. All the same stuff that you've seen happen. To
Oh yeah, all the
45,
stuff that's happened to Trump is happening to him. Yeah.
The Don, it's a standard element of my life. Constantly being attacked, death threats, terrorism, extortion, lawsuits. It just goes on and on and on. And then this horrific weather that we've just
You mean
been
the weather attack, right? And he's going through terrorism and death threats. No, he's going through mean tweets. That's what he's going through, mean tweets. Oh man, I just lost my place now.
Alliance has been
Oh, there it is.
cleansing
Wait,
it
wait.
very, very consistently.
Lockdowns are still coming. 10 days of darkness and arrests.
But there's going to be a moment where they have to get the big names, and that's where we're probably going to have temporary martial law. It's not a bad thing. Has to happen.
Martial
that
law
way.
is a bad thing, David Wilcock. No matter how you look at it.
Emergency
Oh
message
yeah,
broadcast
the 10
on your
days of
phone.
darkness, the mass arrest you've been promising since 1998. Do I have to play the 15-minute clip of you promising that over and over and over again, year after year after year, and it never happens? You know why? Because you're not a psychic. You're an imbecile. You're a moron. You're an idiot.
Could be very, very close.
He really
to that.
is the worst psychic that I've ever encountered. And I've looked into a lot of fake psychics, right? A lot of fake psychics I have looked into. Did we get this one?
The B-21 is $704
Oh, yeah, we
million.
did get that one. Okay.
Jim Garrigus, what's the good news you have for us this week? Sorry if you're not enjoying this. That's kind of an insult, but anyway, he gave me $250, so I guess I'll just take the hint.
Okay, so he'll read your super chat. If it's $250, Even if you insult him, he'll take and read your super chat. Very nice of him. Macario, someone gives him 250 and makes a joke, and he still takes it as an insult. Yeah, what did the guy say? That wasn't even an insult.
Jim Garrigus, what's the good news you have for us this week?
What's the good news? He's making a joke because David Wilcock is always talking all this doom and gloom stuff, right?
Anita Constance says, give your P.O. Box again so I can send you a check, please. It's P.O. Box 3700, Nederland, Nederland, Colorado, 80466.
Man, it'd be a shame if people start sending them things, right?
People bother trolling? I don't know. Anita Constance.
Okay, so he's giving out. See how fast he gives his. He gives his P.O. Box super quick because they were going to send him a check.
Normal Truth Seeker says trolls are deterrent.
What? He just said Truth Seekers.
Normal Truth Seeker says trolls are deterrent means you are on the right path. How can I help spread your words? Well, first of all, I'd pick a different name than Truth Seeker. We already have a troll show called that.
Oh, I'm a troll show. Oh,
it's very, very nasty.
I'm very nasty, and I run a troll show. Macario says he watches and hates Steven. He's just jealous, man, because he can't be as cool as me. Right? You know, like I got a beautiful wife and a family and a respect of my peers and a community, a good place in the community. He's a grifter. He's a greasy grifter, and he always will be a greasy grifter. But I do, just like with Darkside Phil, I believe there's a road to redemption for all men, and I hope he finds his. Charles McDonald, with a kind and generous $13, says, please, no more Wilcock bikini pics. My eyes hurt. Well, just because you said that now. Yes. Yes. Ask and you shall receive, right? All right. Let's continue with this. All right, wait, we're through this one. This one's 13 seconds. Go on to the next one.
Normal Truth Seekers.
Oh, no, we got that one. He hates and watches Steven. It was the 12-second. Okay.
Saying Z instead of those letters. So, you know, this would imply that
Shadows of Ezra says the community notes on X are funded by USAID. That's not the case.
X is becoming a better place to live. And in fact, our own attacker has not been attacking in the last 2 weeks. So maybe his money got cut off as well in this process. That would be great.
Oh, come on, you guys. Nobody's been sending him mean tweets for a couple of weeks. You guys, come on, man. These are amateur numbers. You got to, come on. No, I don't actually want to encourage anybody to send him mean tweets or be mean or rude to him.
Then now we're seeing
he thinks he is part of the independent media Joe Rogan is talking about.
Rogan is going out there bringing out the truth about how blacklists everybody like me in the independent media is being blacklisted.
You know the guy in the beginning of your video that says that you're a genius?
Here's the famous Rogan clip.
You know
there he is.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that he also thinks that he's Edgar Casey reincarnated? Shows you pictures of
I have
Edgar
no
Casey,
idea. That's news to me.
Edgar Casey's friends and how his friends look like Edgar Casey's friends. And
Really?
Have you ever watched any of that guy's lectures?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, some the team interviewed him, but I
I
don't know.
want to do a little editing.
David Wilcock thinks Joe Rogan is talking about him. Here's Joe Rogan actually talking about him. You know what, David Wilcock? Joe Rogan thinks you're a complete and total nutbag wackadoo, and so do I.
Editing with that one. Not saying that anything else in your documentary is bullshit, but that guy makes my radar detector go off.
Will you let what's David Wilcock? You know David? No. I got another one. Really?
That guy says that he is the reincarnation of Edgar Casey. Do you know that? Did you know that?
Yeah, I've heard.
Do you know who Edgar Casey is?
Yeah, of course.
Famous psychic who never really figured out anything.
Understood.
Suffer, David Wilcock. Joe Rogan thinks you're an idiot and a moron and a grifter, and I can't say I disagree with him. David Wilcock. I cannot say I disagree with him.
I'll buy you a new house somewhere warmer if you want this summer. I think I'm going to have the money
Do you think that his followers really have that much money? Because there are some whales in that community that give these guys tens of thousands of dollars, or so I've heard.
to get out
I'm waiting for my whales, right? We need some better peg pigs here, guys. I could use a house in Florida.
here, and I absolutely intend to. It is a freakish nightmare that I got trapped here after my divorce. This was only supposed to be
trapped here. It's a freakish nightmare. He's living in one of the most beautiful places in the entire United States. Where he lives, I think it's Netherland, Colorado, and this is public knowledge. I'm not doxing him, but go look at the mountain views and all of the pristine nature and the wildlife. It's one of the truly most beautiful places on earth. And here he is crying that he got trapped here in this terrible place.
Summer home. And back then I had a fat cat lifestyle that could afford that. And I've been totally broke and trapped here.
Totally broke. $258,000 a year. But that's why I mentioned, that's why I titled tonight, tonight's broadcast about him being broke. David Wilcock is so broke, friends, he can barely survive.
And there is nothing worse than being stuck in this wind. It doesn't matter whether you can hear it or not. The motion and the sense of danger just wakes up your body. So I've been awake since 2 o'clock in the morning.
He's got such a sense of danger because of the wind. It's just terrible. It's just terrible.
I do think he's really just a horny guy.
David is just like Elon. He has the same problems in his past life. He would never want all the women like Musk has. And we know why.
I mean, they're saying now in the media he's got 12 different kids, three or four different mothers. If you dress up as a Red Lobster, that definitely shows that you're
That's a knight, you dummy, not a Red Lobster.
You're ready to get in the game. You want to wear those feathers, and I had the same.
Buffalo Spunk says a horny guy who conceived almost every child with in vitro fertilization. Make it make sense.
Issues 12,000 years ago. My alleged past life, Edgar Casey's past life, is Rata. The big problem I had was going around and being promiscuous. I've had 12,000 years to think about it and get punished with karma and poverty. I'm definitely not going to do that again. So
he's definitely not going to be promiscuous again. Probably because almost no women would bang you, David Wilcock.
I'm going to be a one-woman man always. And if anybody asserts otherwise, then that is a lie, because I already know I'm not going to break that rule.
Oh, okay.
And, it causes problems. And this is an example. I'm trying to use it against him.
Woman.
They're just going to have.
And here's the famous clip about him being allergic to vaginas.
A really hard time with.
He's allergic. Allergic to the vajayjay. I tell you, he's gay. He's definitely gay. If you're allergic to vajayjays, you are gay, sir.
Being sexual.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Which has also been my case. As I said last weekend, I don't want to go into all the detail because it's traumatic, but my relationships have not really been physical. Most of the time, it's just a short amount of time, and then I start to have difficulty. And it doesn't
Is that like ED, like erectile dysfunction? Is that the difficulty he's having? Maybe. Well, look, if you're not turned on by the JJ, it's okay. David Wilcock, I give you permission to be gay. Does anybody remember? We used to call it growing up. We called it the gay insurance, right? Growing up, you got a few guy friends. Maybe they're a little effeminate. They don't like the ladies or whatever. You kind of notice among your peer group of friends. So you give them that gay insurance. You're like, look, man, if you're gay, we'll still be cool. Just don't try to bang me or blow me, and we'll be okay, right? I that's gay insurance. I give David Wilcock the gay insurance. I'll still cover you even if you start butt banging dudes and come out of the closet. It's fine.
Make it, fun to have a relationship because I just got overwhelmed. I mean, with my first girlfriend, the first time I made out with my first girlfriend in college, and she was Japanese. I started to feel sick, and I was very much in love with her. I thought she was beautiful.
He was made to feel sick by a beautiful woman. He's allergic to vajayjay. When he gets close to the vajayjay, he gets physically ill, friends. Those are his own words. And by the way, that's going to be one of my court. What do they call those things when you have like different? God, I'm blanking on this. That's going to be one of the things that I put forward in the court case, just so that the judge and the jury know that he's allergic to the JJ. I think that's important, right? Exhibit. That's going to be one of my exhibits. Him being allergic to the JJ. Exhibit 1, Your Honor. This man is allergic to the JJ. He can't be trusted.
Atlantis Rising. David, where did you hear that about Casey? I've been an ARE member for over 20 years. I never heard that before. Well, that's the whole point. The ARE, the Casey administration, will not acknowledge this. They will not talk about this. We got the face, we got the astrology.
Yeah, for those unaware, when David Wilcock started claiming that he was Edgar Casey reincarnated, he contacted the Edgar Casey Foundation, and Edgar Casey's family members challenged him to take a test that Edgar Casey left behind, knowing that many scammers and grifters would come forward pretending to be him reincarnated. He refused to take that test.
So, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, there is something you can do about it. You can take the test and prove it, but you won't. And Macario says, that spot is getting much closer to what's left of his hairline. Ha ha! Suffer, David Wilcock. Your hair is leaving you, bro. Your hair is just leaving you. It's just trying to escape. It's running away. It's running away. Ha ha! Man, that bald spot is getting pretty big. Pretty soon he's not going to be able to, he's going to look like Larry from the Three Stooges. He already does.
This could be the end. I mean, maybe I'll actually get a week off. I have to say, doing what ends up being a 5-hour show every single week.
It's so terrible. He has to work 5 hours a week to make and he only makes $258,000. That's why I titled tonight's broadcast, He's Broke. He can barely survive. David Wilcock is so broke, he can barely survive. It's so terrible having to work 5 hours a week. Well, I guess it takes him a couple of hours to make all these ridiculous slides. So even let's be fair and say he worked 8 hours a week. That's most people's one day of work, David Wilcock, and you're making $258,000 and constantly crying like a bitch.
It's terribly exhausting. I don't ever feel like I have any time off. I don't ever feel like I can breathe or relax.
He's got 6 days a week off.
I've been building this show since Thursday. And again, the Alliance slides, I had 5 that I couldn't even get done with.
So screen capturing a bunch of Teleguard Twitter posts takes 3 days? Is he for real?
I've been working literally right up until the moment I'm on the air. I was up since 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm attacked in every way possible. It's just very, very intense. But I did get a business loan. We can fight back against the subpoena. We're going to take it to court. You're going to learn everything that happened in my filing if we do go that route. Hopefully they can back off. I doubt that they will, though.
It's Gaia Corporation. They have $1 billion. They have unlimited lawyers. You're cooked, bro.
They're just very, very aggressive.
Buffalo Spunks. Shout out to Buffalo. Says wine, wine, wine.
They clearly have anger towards me, and they want to implicate me in a crime, even though I'm not a defendant in this countersuit that they filed. So
they're going to put him on the hot seat and grill him for 8 or 10 hours in a deposition. And I'm going to get that deposition if it can be gotten.
This is pretty good. I'm at the 1.5 hour mark.
It's not pretty good. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad, David Wilcock. That's what it is. Oh, God, how much more of this? Geez, there is a lot more. I thought there was a lot less. Turns out there's a lot more.
My husband is a chiropractor. We work together. Miracles. Yes, I know you said that before. So anyway, I do get regular massages. And in fact...
could you imagine being the poor girl that has to massage this clown? Ew. 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 It's gross. And if you're barely surviving, how are you? Do you know how expensive it is? What is a massage at the least? $100? He can afford multiple massages a week, but he's barely surviving.
You want to see a scar? Check this out. Look at that. I'm getting cupping done, and it actually causes bruising.
Oh, that's gross.
Because that's how hardcore I am about my own healing, you guys.
No, I think a woman beat him up. I think a woman beat the shit out of him. That's what I think.
So there's one there. There's another one right there. That one happened to get really, really horribly black and blue. They don't usually look that bad.
Yeah, Macario says, I think that scar was from the plow guy.
But I'm very intensely dedicated to healing.
David Wilcock's been plowed by the plow guy.
There's these kind of rubbery cups that you put on. And then what that does is it breaks up the fascia, the knots in the fascia.
Oh, this is just gross. This is just gross. It's just gross.
Again, the Alliance keeps signaling this every week, and I think they're going to, bring me out on a big scope and tell everybody about this. I'm quite confident that's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, the Alliance is going to bring him out, and he's going to get a job working for Donald Trump. Sure.
This is also weird because my massage therapist has 2 horses who she is trying to help heal and rehabilitate. And this is also now prophetic of the healing of our relations with Russia the Bear as well as Maha.
Oh, my God.
Make America healthy.
Oh, this means something. My massage therapist has 2 horses, and she's trying to help them heal. And also, Trump is healing our relations with Russia. I'm a great prophet. One of these things is not like the other. David Wilcock has nothing to do with anything.
Oh, by the way, not only was it you ready for this? This is funny. I also have cut marks on my arm. You can see there's one right here on this side. And then I got another one on the other side.
What the hell is he doing there? Cupping crap? That's pseudoscience nonsense.
Because, it really does work. But what happens is you tear through old scar tissue and your muscle tissue, and then it bleeds a little bit and you get these scars that come up. So yeah, I actually got another one right there. So boom, that's the cup. Okay, so yeah, cupping hurts like hell.
Well, then why do it, dummy?
By the way, so I get tortured, but it really works.
On
I
purpose?
mean, I'm almost completely scar tissue free in my muscles now. I had a very big childhood injury in my right hip, and we are healing that, and it's incredible. So even though it looks painful, it really doesn't hurt. And I feel great. And it's really healing me in amazing ways.
Okay. All right. We're going to have to do a whole section on cupping sometimes because that is pseudoscience nonsense, in my opinion.
Noted here that I just reconnected and I'm talking.
Oh, that's good
with
news.
an ex-girlfriend who I've
David
now
might get laid by a real woman.
known for nearly
I don't believe it. Just like I don't believe his alien stories. I don't believe this is like the I got a girlfriend, but she lives in Canada story, right?
18 years. She texted me out of the blue on my phone. I haven't allowed anybody to talk to me except my buddy Artie.
Oh, nobody's allowed to talk to him.
But I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll talk to Anna. We're using that code name for her.
He's got to use a code name for her because she doesn't exist, probably.
I still had this funny toy that she gave me. This is a toy that she gave me back when we were still together. And it's like Lion Man. And I had kept this in my bathroom in Los Angeles. And so I photographed this for her and sent it to her. She was amazed that I still had it. So
he's keeping toys from ex-girlfriends around.
And I'm not in any hurry to get into an involvement. I don't think she is either, but like we're just talking. It's all good. But there's definitely stuff in the time loop about this, which is fascinating. They're just going to have a really hard time with being sexual, which has also been my case.
Allergic to the JJ clip, but we've already seen this once tonight, so we'll skip that. We'll skip over that, friends. Oh, no. Oh, every week he has more prophetic dreams. And Macario says, I need to see Wilcock sell shitty Chinese electric vehicles in a commercial. He really thinks that Steven Tyler pays attention to him.
Then there was something in the dream about a rock band. It was the band Kiss. They were not wearing makeup, Gene Simmons especially.
Yeah, he says something really stupid here, so let's listen.
This also freaked me out, you guys, because the day before I unsealed this for the show and made a slide out of it, I was considering licensing the classic Kiss song, I Was Made for Lovin' You, to use in our upcoming car commercials. Of course, we pay very well for it, so Gene will be very happy.
Oh, yeah. The company that can't make any product for 30 years is suddenly going to come up with millions of dollars to license a Kiss song. And if you're going to license a Kiss song, are you really going to license like their worst song ever? The disco sellout song, I Was Made for Loving You?
And the other members of the band who still get the proceeds, whoever that is. It seems very appropriate for a sexy sports car. I love that song. It's the one disco type of song that Kiss really did.
Yeah, the gayest song that Kiss ever made. And of course, David Wilcock loves that one.
And I think it would be perfect for a commercial with a car. So we'll probably also license Aerosmith so Steven doesn't get jealous. It's the only...
yeah, Steven Tyler is going to be jealous if David Wilcock only buys the rights to a Kiss song.
Steven, I really want there to be is Steven Tyler. But unfortunately, we have the other Steven as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm the other Steven. We have that other evil Steven, right?
Also, I began paying off my college loan on this very day of February.
Listen to this bloated sense of self-importance. Oh, this was the day I started paying off my student loan. This is prophetic. This is predicting. What is this predicting, you idiot?
The 19th, and I wrote, the weirdness of this dream could be related to the fact that I'm finally facing up to my college loan. I called them on the phone, agreed to send out some money.
He sits and makes these slides as if this was something important and worthy of communicating to 500,000 subscribers.
The guy was basically saying if I sent
it's like literal. It sounds some of this stuff just sounds like a crazy person in a rubber room ranting.
$60, another frequency number, a number of degrees in a circle. They would start me out on a monthly payment, and then I would be up to date. Well, just last week, I finally had the money to pay $2,200 towards my remaining Arizona tax bill.
Yeah, what's that? You owe $80,000 in state taxes, and another one is $50,000. I believe he has two separate tax liens. One of them, to the best of my knowledge or recollection, is for $50,000 in unpaid state taxes, and the other one is something like $80,000 in unpaid state taxes,
which was two backed up monthly payments of $1,100.
Remember, he's over $100,000 in debt just for state taxes. Then he claims he's $1.5 million in debt for federal income tax, but he's somehow going to come up with the money to fly all the way to Pennsylvania and sue me in Pennsylvania court and spend all that money on a lawyer. Sure, okay.
So again, amazing time loop, because here I am again paying off my old debts with monthly payments.
Oh, this means something, because I once paid money to start paying back my student loans, and now I'm paying money to pay back my unpaid income tax, and this means something?
There's a big feeling in me that I have to overcome, I said after the dream, where I just feel like I'm always going to keep dodging this. I didn't want to put money towards it. I also know the whole thing could be knocked out with only $15,000. That's how much I owed on student loans for college. And 15 is not necessarily
the rest of the money for his college come from?
College
costs more than $15,000. I guess his parents paid for the rest.
I was getting a
poor little rich boy
book published. It didn't end up happening, but it would have been a $10,000 advance. So again, $15,000. Just yesterday, I got a business loan, and my lawyer told me that the minimum I'm going to need to fight back in court against the subpoena is $15,000, but maybe $20,000.
Okay, so he borrowed the money so that he doesn't have to give this subpoena.
So, again, the 15.
Boy, there must be some skeletons in that Gaia TV Corey Good closet of his. Imagine being willing to spend $20,000 so you don't have to answer questions about all that. That's what he's basically admitting to here.
$15,000 figure.
He's guilty! He's guilty, I say! I'm not sure what he's guilty of yet, but I'm sure he's guilty! Guilty!
Is dazzling because it directly relates to money that I just raised for my own legal defense, and now it's not even a big deal compared to back then.
Man, talk about connecting dots that aren't there.
Once again,
right? This is fascinating to him. It's just so fascinating to him. And we're going to catch up. I'm going to catch up with the live chat. Let me see, where are we at with our goal? We have hit the goal, friends. Praise the cash almighty. We have hit the goal. You know why? Because we hit our goals, and we don't have to beg every 2 minutes like you, Darkside Phil, because Darkside Phil is broke. Darkside Phil is a broke loser, and he doesn't hit his goals because he begs too much. And I barely ask for support, and we hit our goal. Praise the cash. Why doesn't Wilcock shave off that skull yet? XZ with a kind of generous $2. I don't know. You know, growing up, I had a very close friend who went bald very young at like 20. And at least in his case, he had some dignity. He just shaved his head at 20, and he's been shaving his head ever since. And that's what you do. You don't get a hair system like, you know, some people. You don't wear a rug, right? You don't get plugs that look like doll hair. If I ever go bald, I will just shave it all off. But in my family, it's very common, on my father's side especially, that they don't go bald. My grandpop had hair, and all my uncles, they all had hair until they died. But we get big widow's peaks. So I guess the widow peak will get bigger, but I'll still have hair on the top of my head. unlike David Wilcock. Something brewing with kind of generous $10 and one for the goal. You're the GOAT, Steven. This guy's hairline is felt. Thank you. And Gom with another kind of generous $5. Darn Wind is trying to finish off that fifth head. Oh, suffer, David Wilcock, bitch. Ronald Portillo with kind of generous $2. Let's get Steven to 50. Let's go. And that was one for the goal. So I thank all of you throwing in some cash for the goal. Wilcox is broke. He needs to praise the cash. Yeah, he doesn't. I'll give him this, though. He doesn't beg for it like Darkside Phil. So there's things that David, but then again, I don't think Darkside Phil lies as much as David Wilcox. So both grifters have their strengths and weaknesses, right? Duos Alpha Ralpha with 5. Wilcock is broken, needs to praise the cash. Thank you. And they're out, throwing $2 in, saying, suffer, bitch. Yeah, absolutely. And Axe Z with another one. Why is he grifting MAGA? Conservatives aren't interested in this woo-woo. A lot of them are Christians. Christians don't like this stuff for the most part. Very good observation, and thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support with the $10 dono. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us, Axe Z. And Nick Mullen with a kind, generous $5 Canadian. And if everyone gave Wilcock their money, we would be living in darkness. So he's kind of right. You're right, Nick Mullen. Maybe that's the one prophecy that I believe in. And thank you for your kindness. Charles McDonald with $13 Canadian. At least it wasn't Greer in a bikini. Oh, I'll get you one of them. I'll get you the Greer in a bikini. I don't have one handy, but just because you mentioned it, we're going to be back to covering some Stephen Greer nonsense soon. Pentaxenstein with 5 says number 48. All right. And then Pentaxenstein with 5 saying number 49. And yes, Pentaxenstein is the MVP of hitting the goal. Pentaxenstein, I think that's multiple times now that Pentaxenstein has sniped the goal with a bunch of kind and generous super chats right as we were approaching the goal to get the win. Pentaxenstein, thank you very much. And then we have Steve's Now 9 with $5 says, we are so getting Arby's now. I don't know about Arby's. If anybody is aware, if you live in the Northeast, if you live in Pennsylvania at least, or New Jersey, I think they had one location, about a burger place named Nifty 50s. That's my family's favorite. So we are getting Arby's now, says Steve's Now. Maybe not. Arby's on me, Steve, says Pentaxenstein. Thank you very much. Very kind and very generous of you. Pentaxenstein. Yes. And now we're going to set a new goal for 220 for you Broside Phil people. Cupping is wood BS, says Pentaxenstein. I can't say I disagree with you. I think it's pseudoscience, new age nonsense, just like Reiki and a lot of other stuff that, people charge a lot of money for. I built Ace's home studio in Oswego, New York. Did you really, Pentaxenstein? That is awesome. Ace Frehley's home studio? You built that? That is awesome. I would love to meet the guys from Kiss. I grew up with Kiss, and although I will say I was never too huge a fan of their music. I listened to it, but as soon as when I was a little kid, I liked just the way that they looked. They were crazy. And but Kiss really is what made me want to be a musician and inspired me to be like a very theatrical performer when I got into bands, right? With makeup and stuff. Pentaxenstein, that is awesome. And Ty Lee agreeing, that is awesome. It very much is. So let's try to continue through here. Oh man, I lost my place. Paying off student loans, prophetic dream. Is this another one?
And releasing the stranglehold upon your own record.
Vicario says he talks too much. You can tell he doesn't have a lawyer because his phone isn't ringing with someone telling him to shut up. Didn't Wilcock say Stavatti Aero had lawyers? Why aren't these geniuses helping him? Exactly.
This could also refer to my willingness to participate in the subpoena, where I submitted 12,000 pages that prove I did not conspire against the company that is suing me. I released the stranglehold upon my own records.
He didn't conspire against them. He just wrote a 12 or 20-page resignation letter calling them all Luciferian Satan worshipers, but he didn't conspire at all.
This is the subpoena again. And, you know, the main thing they were asking me for is we want every single piece of communication that you ever had with this individual, with anybody else associated with him. We believe that you are guilty, and so you have to give us the evidence that proves your guilt. It's basically what it says. Freaking crazy. I mean, if I had the money, we could have taken it
Suffer,
to court right
Wilcock.
then.
You going down. Them's Gaia lawyers gonna mess with your life, bro.
I signed an NDA and a settlement agreement. It's not even supposed to be something they could ever do, but they did it anyway. But again, this is very fascinating because it says here, repetition of buried archives. That's exactly what you do in a subpoena. Releasing your own records is exactly what I had to do in 12,000 pages. And it's deeply upsetting.
Yeah, and remember, this idiot said that he gave them 12,000 pages and he couldn't even read it all. He gave them 12,000 pages of private email communications and he didn't read the stuff before he gave it to them? Great.
All this personal
super
stuff.
Genius.
Somebody wants to hurt you. You don't want to give them all your personal stuff. But I'm being commended for that because, again, I know I'm not guilty.
Oh, they're commending him. They're commending him, friends.
And building the slides immediately after we had a board meeting on Thursday, we were discussing major strides.
Yeah, and here we go again. There's another big, huge deal for Stavatti Aerospace, and the money's coming in a few weeks.
Of developing our own airline with a European partner. This man...
first, they were developing airplanes in an airplane manufacturing plant in India. Now they're developing an airline in Europe. Awesome.
Head of the company...
and building hover cars and building spaceships and rocket ships. Jesus Christ, it's like a pathological lying 8-year-old.
He specializes and has his own airlines, his own airline, at least one. He wants to enact a massive business plan in March and meet us in person. So it will take a few minutes to get your cosmic pilot's license. And sure enough, he wants to meet with us at the beginning of March, which is only a few weeks away. Hence the analogy of the few minutes. And the cosmic pilot's license is because we're also building hover cars and ultimately spaceships.
Oh, he's building
so
spaceships.
This is again very
now.
time loop
He's
talking about Stavatti.
Spaceships
and
now.
Again, this is our SM39, and this is $85 million a unit.
Friends. He's building spaceships.
It's as affordable as any of the current jets that are being sold, like the F-35 or whatever, but it outperforms everything. Mach 4 is the fastest speed. It can fly into space.
God, it's so stupid.
It's very,
so
very
stupid.
badass.
Does he even know anything about airplane aviation or engineering? You know what it would take to have an airplane that can fly in the atmosphere and also fly in space? You'd need 2 separate engine systems. You'd need all kinds of stuff. And I'm sorry, I don't think that they can do that. I don't think that they can do that. I think he's telling a porky here.
So it's got all these layers to it. It's beautiful. Then it says there was already a point that we wanted you to make. As you continue to explore...
Here he is with the glasses again.
We will continue to provide you with...
He does this every week now, says Buffalo Spunks.
Further data.
Yeah, because he's a moron!
Then I asked, is there any relationship in this dream to what Nancy was telling me about last night? Remember, we had the bicycle being stolen.
He thinks there's a slide up, the idiot. He did it again. He does it every week. I think he's doing this to make fun of me. Or maybe I just hope that he's doing that to make fun of me. Because a spiritual guru who's talking to angels making fun of a half-blind guy who wears glasses is just cringe level maximum. Richard S. Moore with a kind of just $20 Canadian. Love this show, and the song is just so good. Thank you for your kindness. Very generous of you. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. And Obedient to You says, ever investigated Fritz Springmeier? He seems to be the linchpin of a lot of conspiracy BS pseudoscience. No, not familiar. If you want, send me. I always tell people when they tell me about a new grifter or somebody I should look into, please do send me an email at truthseekershow@gmail.com, because I often will forget about your comment here. As much as I try, we get a little busy around here. But pardon me. If it's in my email, I will get back to it when I have more time. Sometimes we get a little light for material, and then what happens is I will go into my email, and we pick up on those and start researching them. So thank you for that. Very much appreciate it. And I have set a new goal for overtime 2. To be honest, I'm not sure what we're doing for overtime 1. It's almost 10 o'clock. We can listen to the smart guys and see if Darkside Phil's going to talk any shit on me. Politburo, the kind of generous $2 Australian. This guy sounds amazing. How do I invest? Oh my God, I hope you're being sarcastic, right? I hope you are being sarcastic.
Crushing in on me, and I go into the bathroom, and there's criminal activity in the bathroom.
There's criminal activity.
So now I wrote this in 2006. Nancy.
What kind of criminal activity takes place in the bathroom?
Madly in love with the Latino guy who had finally finished his term in prison. On the very same day that he got let go out of prison, his car collided with an old man who drove right out of the road in front of him. He really had no choice but to have a collision.
How can you not know that there's no slide up and he's sitting there with those on?
Was, blind, couldn't see where he was going. And the collision actually killed the old man. Like instant karma. How horrible, right? Her boyfriend then immediately went back into prison, even though the death was
like
clearly
ramblings of just an insane lunatic.
Old man's fault. And the old man's family ended up getting a huge insurance settlement. Well, Michael ends up saying it's a good thing that they did, but Nancy was a client who now had asked me for, I guess I had my dorky sunglasses on so that I don't burn my eyes, and you guys didn't see this anyway. Sorry about that.
He wears sunglasses so he doesn't burn his eyes? What's that about? I don't understand what that is about. Right? Now I lost my place. 112, 112.
Building the slides immediately after we had a board.
Oh, nope, wrong one. I'm losing my place. This is 129.
So it's got all these.
All right, that's the last one. On to the next one. And thank God we've only got 3, 6, 9, 12 more, and we'll be through this slop.
It turns out that one of the
remember, besides all the other amazing stuff that he has said Stavatti Aerospace will be doing, building hover cars, building spaceships, building rocket ships, free energy engines, hover cars, selling and manufacturing electric vehicles, all these advanced spacecraft and aircraft. Now they're also designing new jet engines. Does he bother listening to himself and know what a liar he seems like? Because every week he comes up with new things that he says Stavatti is going to be doing. And then they never do any of it.
Things we're going to be doing is designing our own new jet engines. In fact, for the SM-39 here, there's jet engines that we're going to have. If you look at the bottom of the craft,
there's jet engines in my toy car.
The air intake is down here. And then this whole entire area, all the way up to here, you look on the back, this is the outflow. So we're going to be making new jet engines that go through this whole entire expanse.
Yeah. The guy who can't change a battery in a smoke detector is going to design and build this completely and totally super advanced space plane that's the fastest jet ever built, right?
And that's part of what allows it to go so fast, is you got to have a really, really long jet engine. So that's going to be an entirely new technology that we will make on a proprietary basis. And this is a major part of what India needs from us. India has built airplanes that don't have the right jet engines.
Oh, yeah. They can build an airplane, but they need super genius of the millennium, David Wilcock, the guy who can't change a battery in a smoke detector, the guy who can't work microphones in a live stream. They're going to need him to design the jet aircraft engines for them.
And so they need our jet engines because GE is not selling to them anymore. And so they have aircraft that need engines and they don't have engines for them. So we're going to be supplying them with that as well.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. More pie in the sky things that they're going to do, but then they never do any of it.
Beverly Adams,
they didn't produce the hover cars with the anti-gravity engines and the free energy engines. They never built an airplane, but they're going to do all these incredible things.
I shares too.
It's like a loser braggart, liar, BS guy. That's what he every week.
You can still write Stavatti. We still got, I think, 18 slots left, I believe, if people wanted to invest.
Yeah, because it's a great idea to invest in a company that's being sued by a previous investor who got ripped off for $1 million. It's a great idea to do that. Why wouldn't you invest? Give them $2 million.
David's
They ripped off the first guy that gave them the $1 million, and he's suing them in a lawsuit and called him a Ponzi scheme and an investment scam. But sure, tell your followers to invest in the same company.
Course, and honestly, he should be paying me.
I think this is Jeremy Rise in his live chat telling him that his anti-gravity course sucks, and I'm here for it.
I took David's anti-gravity course, and honestly, he should be paying me to teach that course. That's pretty presumptuous. But hey, you know what? People can say whatever they want. You want to come out here do this? How quickly will you get 6,000 people watching your show, right?
Yeah, and he barely gets 6,000 people watching his show. With 500,000 subscribers, what does that tell you? Bot, 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 bot. Somebody bought some subscribers for his ego, David Wilcock. My opinion, I'm entitled to it.
Whatever, boy. I took David.
And by the way, I'm not sure if that's Jeremy Rise. I forgot to ask him. But as soon as I heard this clip, I thought, oh, that's Alien Scientist. Because Alien Scientist has a real physics degree, and they have a whole database of all kinds of strange science and anti-gravity and free energy stuff. And they, and if I had to listen to anybody talk about anti-gravity and the possibilities of anti-gravity, I would listen to Jeremy Rise first. Way before I would listen to somebody as dumb as David Wilcock. Yeah.
And 47, thank you, Marna. We'll just go with that for now.
Wilcock keeps showing how he is just like Trump. Trump sold steaks, and Stavatti is partnered with a beef company. Oh, yeah. Besides all those other amazing things, they've also developed cows that don't fart, and they're going to get into the beef business as well. So far, Stavatti Aerospace is in the rocket ship business, the dynamite business, the hover car business, the electric car business, the power plant business, the free energy business, the missile business, the spaceship business. Oh, and the beef business they're getting into as well.
Sell steaks. And Stavatti is also affiliated strongly with a beef company. I've talked about them before. Plus, right as I unsealed this, I had just had beef.
He unsealed this. He took this box of crap out from some box that he's been saving since 1990 of supposedly prophetic predictions.
Instead of bison for dinner, which is, pun intended, very rare. Ooh, whack, whack.
Oh, no.
Had to put a little joke in there to keep things moving. But again, what had happened was that there was actually no bison available at the grocery store.
Oh, remember, he only eats grass-fed ribeye bison steaks that cost like $40 a steak or whatever. I don't know what. I bought one. It wasn't $40. Maybe it was $20 for one steak.
Food. I had no other choice. I normally don't eat beef at all, but I had to buy steak, so I bought 3 beef ribeyes.
He said he had a freezer full of 2 months worth of bison steak, and already he's buying beef steaks too?
I had eaten the second to last one, I guess. Or no, the last one. It was. I ate the last one because it was expiring on the 10th. It was 3 days overdue. I had the last steak, and then I didn't really want to eat beef. I prefer bison dramatically.
So
but when they mentioned beef as I'm unsealing this stuff, it was so amazing.
Oh, the angel mentioned beef. I think we know what kind of beef David Wilcock wants. We know what kind of beef he wants.
So you see, even though they're serving the needs of the client in 1999, it's also constantly time looping into the present.
No, it's not. It's not time looping into anything but your own imagination, you wackadoo.
So we also just discussed in today's board meeting.
Oh, now they're building a data center too. So they're in the beef business, the airplane business, the rocket ship business, the missile business, the dynamite business, the electric vehicle business. Oh, and now they're going to build data centers too.
Data centers. We're going to have to do a data center anyway. And there's very elaborate protocols on safety and security for that. Our company is going to need to have a data center, but it turns out, 47 just announced $500 billion invested.
He's always comparing himself to Donald Trump.
Data centers.
What a loser.
We're kind of like stupid if we don't build our own data center, especially because
well, just like they never built an airplane, they never built a data center before. Do you know how expensive? I've worked in IT. Do you know how expensive a data center is, you idiot?
Niagara Falls. we can get power at an absurdly low cost that nobody else can beat. We can get it for, I believe, 1.8 cents a kilowatt. And then we had, I forget who it was, if it was, I think it was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and they were bragging that they had it for like, it was either 28 cents a kilowatt or 32 cents a kilowatt. We're like, dude, we got 1.8 cents.
Smart guys, yes.
And also in data centers, you need to cool them off, and we're up in New York where it's cold, whereas a lot of these are being built in Texas, and then they have to pay for air conditioning. So we can beat the competition on a data center.
Yeah, they're beating the competition with airplanes. They're beating Lockheed Martin. Now they're going to beat data center. And they've never built a data center before, but they're going to beat the data center competition. Come on,
and all of the classified material is eventually going to be migrated to these data centers. So we had an intense discussion about this in our board meeting, and then lo and behold,
who's trusting David Wilcock with this stuff? Pentaxenstein with 10 saying bathing in your own urine should be criminal. I agree. And Mighty Pingus with 5 says, I'm welding on my cousin's car, so I have to watch later. Just saying hi. And that Milkcock here is balding. He's bald. He's broke. And he's bald. Have dignity and shave it off, man. I agree. He should do that. He'd probably look like a smacked ass bald, though. Did David Wilcock just admit to doing illegal activities in Denny's men's bathroom? I guess he really did have a grand slam. Ouch! Oh, that's the comment of the night, Chad Wellington. That's the best joke I've gotten in a super chat in a long time. David Wilcock had a grand slam in the Denny's bathroom. Pentaxenstein, sure, they're far advanced beyond Rolls and GE when it comes to aircraft engines. Yeah, that too. I mean, it's just so pie in the sky. It's just like a guy that never stops bragging but can't show you anything. You better believe Wilcock is a beef eater, says Chad Wellington. Another good one. Yes. Yes. And Kale laughing at the absurdity of all of this, right? And here's Chad Wellington with another one. Wilcock also receives beef. Yes, he definitely is receiving beef. Oh, no. All right, we're done with this data center. Come on, man. They're not building a data center.
Actually, October 1997, when I went back to Virginia Beach, so I got there 3 months. Or 2.5
and this is where he's telling the story of the Edgar Cayce Foundation. They threw him out of there. They threw him out of there because he wouldn't take the test.
Months ahead.
And I have an on-the-record statement from like their one-time president saying that they disavow all of his claims, and they told him, don't claim you're Edgar Cayce reincarnated. He went selling a book anyway.
And it was only once I got to Virginia Beach, the home of the Edgar Cayce Center, that everybody started recognizing that I look exactly the same as Edgar Cayce.
No, there's some vague resemblance.
And this was a big buzz. I mean, people were really, really excited about this. It was not taken lightly. That
was one of his previous grifts.
I was reading.
I'm Edgar Cayce reincarnated. No, you're not.
Gene Reed.
Why can't you pass the test? Why can't you pass the test that Edgar Cayce left behind to expose grifters? Why would you not have the balls to take the test, Mr. Cayce?
Peter was one of the people in the study group. She's now deceased, but she was Casey's Casey's son's secretary, Hugh Lynn Cayce's secretary. She believed I was the real deal. Everybody in town believed I was the real deal, except the top management of the
They're out, says he looks like the guy from the 1985 movie Mask.
Yes, he does. I had the same face, the same astrology.
But that dude was more, here's what I'll say, though.
And they were like, F you.
He does look like that guy from Mask, but that guy from Mask was much better looking and more handsome than him.
You get the hell out of here, basically, is what happened.
I like that actor. His name escapes me, but he was also the lead male role in a movie called Some Kind of Wonderful, which I loved growing up.
And they said that even if I was Edgar Cayce, I was of no use to them. They didn't like the fact that I had a history of using cannabis.
No, they didn't like that you had a history of being a grifter fake psychic.
They didn't like the fact that I was from New York and they're in Virginia. It's like the North versus South. They didn't like the fact that I used curse words. In New York, everybody dropped the F-bomb. It was no big deal.
We don't like
they
you.
were still genteel Southerners, and they did not like my sassy mouth. So I was essentially run out of the ARE, but all that happened in the year 1998, and the guy I spoke to said, oh, every week we got somebody who comes in and says they were Edgar Cayce. Well, not with this kind of face, not with this kind of astrology.
Yeah, you're a grifter. They recognized the grifter right away. 139. Oh God, we're gonna get through this shit.
So again, all of the deals that we make are marrying our company to investors. Maybe in the future I'm going to have a relationship again. Maybe I'll get married, and if we do,
Who did you marry with that guy that your company ripped off for $1 million? Who did you marry him to?
it's probably going to be spectacular, just like my last one was. So that could be another
Oh, Sarah's Christensen. No, David Wilcock, you will not get married again simply for the fact that you're one of the biggest R words on the
layer
planet.
of the prophecy. I'm in no hurry to do that, but it might happen. It will happen at some point, I'm sure.
Oh, he's getting married
But
again,
again, the main
friends.
thing is
He's getting married to a dude. Maybe he's going to marry the plow guy. That's what a lot of people think. He's having a secret love affair with the plow guy.
a marriage involving a lot of money, a huge amount of money. This is, if somebody's going to put billions of dollars in, you better believe that's a huge
He's still thinking that Stavatti's going to get billions of dollars of investment capital.
marriage. So that's what
Why would anybody invest billions when you ripped off the guy that gave you $1 million? He gave you $1 million and you ripped him off, according to him, and he sued your company. Why would somebody say, this sounds like a good idea, even though they ripped off the guy that only gave them the $1 million and never gave him his money back? I'll invest $1 billion.
I think it's talking about.
You are
we already
an
have the
idiot,
EV deal.
David Wilcock.
We have other deals with Europe, all kinds of stuff.
By the way, he's kind of blaming me for why they're not getting deals, right? He's blaming me.
The stone that we build our edifice upon.
Oh, so what happened to the $300 million deal? Yeah, remember?
Is worth more than $300 million.
He said they were going to get a $300 million deal. What happened to that, David Wilcock? Did you lie about that, or are you lying now?
Dollars or any other amount of money. And this blew me away because when we first unsealed this, Stavatti's first certifiable
box of old
deal
crap.
was exactly,
That's unsealing
any higher or lower, was exactly $300 million. And I was all excited about it, and I was also frustrated about how long I've been broke. And Michael was reminding me,
$258,000 a year. I've been broke for so long. I'm only making $258,000 a year because he's bald and he's broke.
Me that we're building a new pyramid. You know, this Michael Prophecy's work now is like the Great Pyramid was, but it's a physical, tangible thing.
He's
we're
building pyramids now?
Doing in these videos week after week. And this is worth more than $300 million or any other amount of money. So he was almost kind of showing me
the first certifiable deal for Stavatti is $300 million. Then where's the money? Why do you guys need money from India if you already got a $300 million
deal?
You
thought $300 million was great. No. The wealth that you have here in terms of spiritual value.
Oh, David Wilcock has $300 million worth of spiritual value. A guy that's been ripping people off for years now, selling them fake angel prophecies, has got $300 million worth of spiritual value.
Is worth more than any amount of money.
Sure, you dummy.
So it's very humbling, and it's kind of made me be more content since this came in.
Yeah, Stavatti, I think Stavatti is just straight lying to him and telling him that they're getting all these deals, and he believes them.
I've really suffered quite a bit. As you know, I've been broke.
Suffering.
They say, well, this work that we're doing is worth more than $300 million or any other amount of money. Like, okay, fine. But still, I'm like, you know, I'm suffering high winds. I've been alone for longer than most people would ever be able to tolerate it. Could you imagine living in a house with disaster conditions all the time for 3 years, totally by yourself, totally bankrupt, constantly struggling financially? Sometimes you can't even afford food, and you're alone.
He just said he can't afford food. Look, David Wilcock, this is a form of consumer fraud. You're telling 500,000 people that you can't afford food while you're begging for donations. And you just said that you just bought steaks. I'm sorry, but if you can't afford food, you're not buying steaks. Pentaxenstein with 5, Randy, rest in peace, and JREF would have smoked Wilcock. Yeah, he's a complete and total grifter, fake psychic. He couldn't pass any form of scientific testing because superpowers aren't real. And it's a shame I have to tell grown men that, but I do.
That's literally what I've been living in. So yeah, it has a feeling of perpetual incompleteness.
I can't afford food.
With regards to fulfillment.
And more super chat. Hey, audience, I'm really struggling to buy food. Maybe we should hit that goal tonight so I could buy some groceries for my starving children.
The mission, and they said, unfortunately, this is the pattern we needed. They needed me to be broke. They needed me to be alone. They needed me to go through whatever codependent patterns.
He's broke, and he's bald. And he's
had in my
alone.
mind,
He's
whatever
living in a big mansion by himself because he's a loser.
self-defeating thoughts I had in my mind, whatever types of non-loving thoughts I had.
He had non-loving thoughts, friends.
If you spend 3 years alone, top of the mountains in survival conditions with no money.
Survival conditions. He's making $258,000 a year. He's living in a mansion with heated floors. His house has to be like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. Those are survival conditions. Listen to him.
Believe me, you're going to get real about yourself.
Yeah, and yet he has never gotten real about himself yet.
Many of the same weaknesses. Remember Radha? He had sexual weaknesses. He was promiscuous.
Wilcock is the
12,000 years
builder,
ago, that's
says
where I
Macario.
was, building the pyramid.
Oh, David Wilcock built the pyramids. That's another claim. In a previous life, David Wilcock was the designer and builder of the pyramids. Sure you were. Last
I
one.
don't even run these slides at all. Look at all this hair, man. It's just so much hair.
Don't
It's
mess
like,
with his hair.
Yeah.
There is so much hair. It's all going away on Tuesday. It started going away a long time ago, says Macario. That huge bald spot is connected to his giant forehead. Look at the bald spots. Oh my God. Look how bald he is on the top of his head. And it looks like he got some plug work or something. Gross.
This is a party, but it's all going away on Tuesday. I got to get a haircut so we can make money, you guys. So I'm just going to have to deal with the short-haired David Wilcock.
All right. And we have made it through. Not one, but two of David Wilcock's ridiculous live streams. All the best clips. Very big thanks and big ups to Macario, who takes the time to clip all these. I much enjoy covering Wilcock a lot more since Macario started making all the clips. Corpse hair, says Pathfinder. Oh, yeah, he got corpse hair. All right, so here's the good news. We hit one goal. We're still struggling with that second goal. And so we're at least going to do some overtime. And Smart Guys is starting in just a few minutes. But we're going to see if Dumb Side Phil starts talking smack, if Triple P addresses the elephant in the room, or are they just going to ignore all of this and just, are they just going to ignore all of this and then just, I don't know what, like talk about wrestling? That would be very, very disappointing. But we're going to play, by popular demand. Somebody said, why didn't you play the Wacky World of Wilcock theme song tonight? We wanted to jump right in. We're going to take a quick break while we play this, and I'll take a break. And when we come back, we've got overtime. And if we hit that second goal, we'll have a second stint of overtime. I'll be right back, friends.
Stavatti's been a ghost ship, 20 years of empty claims, with hangars full of garbage and dreams that never came. Now he's fishing for new suckers to store more junk inside, while promising his gullible fans hover cars and free energy rides.
We are working on anti-gravity. As soon as we get financed, which again is coming very soon.
Divine insights were handed down, but now they cost a fee. In the wacky world of Wilcock, that's the way it's gotta be. Financial resets, debts erased, a world so fair and bright. The alliance never came, and neither did his wife. The wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. Just buy my course, $300. Enlightenment's the deal. In the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. Extraterrestrial pals, they're coming here to stay. Disclosure's always just around, but aliens delay. Law of one, the Bible, Bhagavad Gita, all mixed up in one. David's stealing from the best, but his fans think it's a brand new one. Plagiarizing Prophet, that's his favorite routine. In the wacky world of Wilcock, where nonsense reigns supreme, we'll all get rainbow bodies, whatever that might mean. And Jesus is an alien, the wildest thing you've seen. David's on a hero's journey through catastrophes and end times were on the brink, he said. But my coffee's brewing nicely, and I'm still in my bed. The wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. Just buy my course, $300. Enlightenment's the deal. In the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. No one's suffering like David in his mansion grand and tall, with eyes and steak and chicken. He's the loneliest of all. His teeth are fake as his prophecies and courses that he sells. In the wacky world of Wilcock, he's ringing all the bells.
If we bathe in our own urine, we can gain superpowers. Doing the bath does help. Or you urinate before you get into the bathtub, and then you drink new water out of a glass, and when you're in the bathtub, you can do a little more.
Buy my course, $300. Enlightenment's the deal. In the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. His PowerPoint slides are packed with schizophrenic rants, forced to stream on YouTube now. Bankruptcy's a stance. Stavatti Aerospace, a Ponzi scheme they say. So pay pigs better pay up, or like Corey Good he'll stay. So many dates, so many dreams, none of them come true. But hey, don't fret, just buy the course and I'll enlighten you.
For God's sake, take the deal, okay? But you have to take the deal and you have to cooperate. Rise, rise, rise. And you feel yourself, kinetic energy of levitation, tingling across your skin.
In 2012, we all ascend, a cosmic shift was due. But here we are in 24, and nothing much is new. Mass arrests and cover busts, elites should quake in fear, yet they're still here, sipping wine. And we're all stuck right here, in a world of Greer and Good, Crush and Lou. With their claims, nobody tops David Wilcock, with his fringe and wacky games, while they're sharing UFOs and theories kinda tame. David's got aliens who wanna sleep with him and eat him, what a shame. He's the master of the bizarre, with rainbow bodies on display. In the wacky world of Wilcock, where nonsense leads the way. So here's to Dave, the shyster bold, with tales so far-fetched and grand. In his world of make-believe, where fantasy's second-hand, he spins his fairy tales and lies between his YouTube streams for his cat crystal ladies who gobble up his dreams.
All right, and we are back, friends. So we promised some overtime. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to know what I think about whatever they're going to say. Let me see if I can't find this. We're still at 7. Oh, checking in with the secondary overtime goal. We are at, let's see, 7 of 50 for that. Remember, it's any amount of super chat qualifies. So we'll go over to YouTube. What is it? DSP Gaming? Oh no, DSP Reacts. If anybody cares what he reacts to. Oh, it's live, but oh, they are going to talk about it. They are going to talk about it. 1 second. Let me just get it queued to the beginning. We're a few minutes behind them. I thought they waited longer. All right, let's share this tab. And let me put my fair use banner up because, yeah, Darkside feels slimy enough to falsely copyright claim me. I don't think he would, but this is fair use, friends. It's transformative work. We're educating the public, and we'll be reacting to the video, talking about it with our live chat, making it a transformative work. We're using it to educate the public about something that is newsworthy. So let's go here. We'll see what Triple P and Dumbside Phil. And by the way, I just want to put on the record, he learned nothing from our interview because as he stopped begging for like 1 day, maybe 2, or he calmed down. He didn't even stop begging. He just calmed down on the constant begging. And then today he was begging as usual. He was just begging and complaining and crying for money just like he always does. So he learned absolutely nothing from that interview. And let's see.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Otto.
I got this.
What's going on?
Oh, there we go.
We're back.
Phil!
Oh my God, I've been snaked.
That's the year of the snake, Phil. How are you enjoying the year of the snake, bro? I should have got my Randy Orton.
And for those unaware, Triple P said I snaked Darkside Phil, and I was supposed to do a softball interview.
Viper shirt on. I don't have one though. I should have ordered it express with the big fucking.
Oh man, I got a Cobra Kai shirt that has a big cobra on the front. When the next time, if I cover Darkside Phil again, which is probably going to happen, I'll wear the snake shirt.
Snake on it. Phil.
I used to have the original Randy Orton shirt where he did the pose, the first pose ever. That old school pose, and it was dope.
Yeah.
But then it fell apart because it's just like a white outline logo, and it was it falls apart. But that was a dope shirt from way back in the day.
Jeff.
So
anyway,
what's up, everyone?
Steve with a steel chair.
A rainbow clapperboard with the words behind the scenes.
What a dastardly bastard!
Coast to coast, smashed his face in.
Calling me a
everyone.
bastard?
So welcome
Really?
to the show. Sorry for the technical difficulties there at the beginning. Today is February 18th, 2025. I'm DSP. That's PPP. This is Smart Guys, our wrestling commentary show, and I hope that you guys are having a good night as we are on the.
Boy, Phil likes a lot of childish stuff like children's wrestling games, wrestling. I mean, I get if you like it, I guess, but like I haven't watched wrestling since they made that announcement when I was a kid that it wasn't real. I felt betrayed by all of the people I used to watch.
Road to Elimination Chamber. These last few weeks have been a lot of kind of filler building Chamber, and this
I ain't gonna really
Monday
just
Night
talk
Raw
about
was
wrestling and not
absolutely
address the
no
elephant in the
exception whatsoever.
room.
It was a lot of qualifying matches, a lot of filler, and a lot of stuff. People are saying
what
the
a
music is still
letdown.
playing, but how's everything going?
Oh man, it was good. I'm worried about you though. Apparently, you're on self-deletion watch. Every day's been a struggle.
Oh.
You lost your smile.
Definitely.
You've been miserable. Are you making it, King?
I can barely get out of bed in the morning. Let me tell you, I gotta have both.
Oh,
Kat and Jasper pushing me out of bed to get functional.
they're motivating you every day. Get up, King. Get up. You can win.
He can joke all he wants. That interview wrecked him. That interview at least shook him, right? Look, if nothing else, I get him to stop begging so much for one whole day, maybe two.
You can get him, Rock. Get up. You're a contender. We gotta get you in there for the rematch against Clubber Lang.
Oh
it wasn't fair, Phil.
Listen,
it wasn't fair.
The truth is, I just have never faced any criticism at all. So now that I finally got some criticism, you know, I just can't take it. I just, I fall like a house of cards.
But,
what can I say?
Listen, for the record, Phil handled it. Phil handled that interview because the thing is, they wouldn't let Phil talk. So all you're doing is like preaching. It's like a solo video. Oh, this thing. It's like, well, are we gonna catch Phil in a gotcha or not? You have to let him talk to get him. And they couldn't do it because they knew that Phil's righteousness would shine through. But Phil stayed positive. He stayed professional throughout.
Man,
He
Triple
didn't
P ought to
rage
be a
quit the call
politician.
like people thought.
He really ought to be a
The heat was
politician.
cranked up all the way. It was the ultimate grill Phil, the inferno in hell. And yet Phil stood strong. The segment was only supposed to be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
He did nearly double that. They pulled out all the tricks.
And just to put on the record, I had a great deal more evidence to show Phil, but since he wouldn't address any of the first 90 minutes worth of evidence, or 2 hours or 3 hours worth of evidence, it was kind of pointless. Like I could just keep showing him more evidence and he'll just keep talking in circles and denying it.
Stopped. They had surprise detractor appearances, NDAs, polygraph tests.
Yeah, who suggested that Phil take a polygraph, Triple P? Triple P was the first person to suggest that I should give Darkside Phil a polygraph. As soon as he heard that I had a polygraph machine, his dick got hard. And he couldn't wait. He's like, we got to get Darkside Phil hooked up to that. That would be great content. It was his idea. And also, I thought it would be a good idea to hit him with "Let's take a polygraph" to back him into a corner.
All the gimmicks, all the tricks, and yet none of it
No, I didn't get through everything.
could put an end to Dark Side Phil's community, the positivity, the streak, the goal. Phil doubled the goal
Yeah,
upon
his community. Well, he's got 227 people watching him. We have more live viewers, and I haven't been at this for 15 years.
return, and Steve showed his true colors as nothing but a yellow-bellied snake in the long
Triple
grass.
P's starting to piss me off now
tested
because some people are believing this
loyalty,
shit.
Saw if he was going to be a team player, and Steve went into business for himself not once, but Steve, I'm aware now tonight, you went into business for yourself again and leaked conversations to detractors. Very disappointing, Steve.
I did not leak any conversations.
You're fired, Steve. Steve is fired from the Keno Casino staff. We're not going to see
Yeah, until they need content again, right?
the stench of Snake Steve ever again on the Keno Casino or on the Dark Side Phil airwaves. Steve has been eliminated. Steve has been whacked because he's a deceitful, lying grifter.
Oh, yeah, I'm the grifter. Sure.
Shame on you, Steve. You tried to grill Phil about his money, yet you took money yourself, Steve.
Yep, I took 2 fat bags and I earned them. You know why? Because I did a ton of research, regardless of what Phil said. I did do a ton of research and a ton of work to prepare for that interview. Everybody loved it. In fact, I just got a notification from somebody on Twitter that they have made a video, and the video is titled "The Legendary DSP Interview That Made History." So yeah, I didn't deserve those bags, dude. No, I deserve those bags, and I took them.
You took money to spread lies.
It wasn't proof I lied about anything.
About Dark Side Phil and his family, his supporters, his business.
Wow.
Fucking shame on you trying to smash this man's rice bowl. He's a fucking internet legend who's given us over 15 years of memories and moments. What have you done, Steve? Where the fuck are your accolades? Where are your big moments? Where are they, Steve?
That interview was a pretty big moment. I don't know. Jesus, God, man, PPP is really throwing me under the bus here to make this seem like it was all me, right? Yeah, it was all me. And Triple P had nothing to do with what happened.
I'm waiting. Your biggest moment is Phil. Phil made you.
No, I did probably have a video that did better than that. I'd have to check.
You're nothing without Phil. You're nothing without me. You're a low down, dirty bum, Steve.
Oh my goodness.
And you ought to be fucking ashamed of yourself associating with the scum of the earth. I saw you on that Detractor podcast. What's wrong with you, man?
Thank you, Jeffrey, for the super sticker.
They will spit you out.
Super stickers count towards the goal,
friends. They're going to have loyalty to you, brother Steve. No, they won't. No, they won't. Once they're done.
Thank you, Taxenstein. I super chatted them with True Seekers is greater than Pig Roach.
They'll go after you and your business and your family, just like they've done to Phil, Steve. And in the end, you'll be nothing. You'll be nothing but the shit on Dark Side Phil's shoes, Steve.
Okay.
So that's it, buddy.
Jeffrey and Iggy, an eye-opening word.
No
Sneak peek.
It's not positive like Phil's community. It's all negativity, toxicity, trolling, and the like. That's not what this program is about. So let's get some subs. Let's get some donations. Let's go.
Real talk. All right. All ridiculous extrapolation aside.
What?
That interview. All right. Like, here's the thing. If you're gonna get someone in an interview and you're gonna try to like get them with gotcha questions or back them into a corner.
I did get you with gotcha questions, and I did back you in a corner, bitch.
Something that you think is like
you were my bitch for 2.5 hours.
Let the person respond in a way that backs them into the corner. And basically, what you need to do, you need them to either self-incriminate or make themselves look bad. But the problem with the interview was he literally wouldn't even let me respond. Like
Because
I
you were
would try
talking
to
in
respond to something,
circles.
and he
I
started,
was
like, getting
interrupting you
angry
because you
and
talked in
yelling,
circles.
and then moving on to the next thing. It's like, but we didn't
You didn't answer one question honestly, you lying scumbag.
even get to that answer yet.
And that was the thing too, Phil. He would crank down your volume while you tried to answer and raise up his voice. It was the oldest trick in the book.
No, on my word of honor, and I can pass a polygraph on this point, I did not lower Phil's mic. The problem is that Phil's been a live streamer for 15 years, and he's so dumb that Phil doesn't know how to work a goddamn microphone. I did not lower his volume. Not one bit.
The OBS audio manipulation. He was screaming.
I don't even use OBS, Triple P. Come on.
Over you. He was angry. He was agitated. He was seething. Whereas you.
No, I was passionate.
You were calm. You were cool. You were collected.
He was shaking in his boots and sweating like a pig and stuttering, Triple P.
I am the center of the storm. The thing is, DSP is the storm. That's what Steve doesn't understand.
It sure seems like that way, and I don't understand why. I really don't.
You are the vortex, Phil.
I didn't know Triple P needed the money this bad to lick this guy's balls here to try to keep what? What are you making here, Triple P, on this wrestling show? $100 a week, $200 a week? Do you really? Wow.
Oh my God.
You are the storm. And so Steve may think, oh, he got one up on you. Oh, da, 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 da. But in the end, everybody falls to the DSP curse. There's nobody but anybody that outlasts the king.
If it's called a curse that I, made that much money just shitting on him and all of his detractors get 10 times the views that he gets, then I'll take that on.
The king.
I'd welcome that curse. What? I get 10 times more views than the guy who I'm shitting on?
Dark side Phil. Many have tried. Many have come at the king and they've missed. And the king took their head. Destiny was one of the most recent examples. Destiny tried to make fun of Phil, saying it was a buyer's market for cars. And what happened to Destiny? It may not happen the next day, or the next week, or the next month, or even the next year or 2 years.
I'm good with my karma. I'm not worried about any impending bad luck, Triple P.
Or 5 years or 10 years. But eventually, all that come at the king are decimated. The king takes their head, leaves them humble and dead. All hail. It's true, though.
It's weird.
True.
It's weird because
longevity.
I don't lift a finger. I don't. I'm like, listen, I easily could clap back at these people. I'm out of the woodwork over the years.
What are you going to clap back with? You're going to show me those bank receipts that will prove your innocence and prove that the bank leaks are fake? You're going to sign the NDA and show me your phone so we can confirm or deny whether down from the rafters is you? Are you going to take the polygraph and prove that you haven't been lying to your audience like a scumbag for years begging for grocery money when you're spending on a children's video game? You could clap back with that. You could really get me there, Phil, but you won't because you know the bank leaks are real and you know that you're a lying, grifting scumbag.
Try to drop my name to get some kind of notoriety with the internet crowd, right? I could go back at them. But I'm like, number one, I don't have a lot of clout. And number two, I don't like making that kind of content, quite frankly. I don't. I don't like making drama content.
When you say you don't have a lot of clout, that might be true in the internet sense. But in the universe, God smiles upon dark side Phil. Whoever it is that pulls the strings of the universe, whether it be Jesus Christ, God, Allah, the Buddha, the Dalai Lama, whoever it is.
I swear to you, I don't have
fates up in Greek mythology, they smile upon you.
I have to promise everyone, I have to promise the internet someone,
please.
I actually do not have the death note over here, okay? I don't have that shit. I don't know what's going on that this stuff happens every time, but undoubtedly the people who fucking come at me somehow self-destroy themselves over a course of several years after they come after me, and I don't have it.
Yeah, well, coincidences happen, Phil.
Nothing to do with it.
The divine right of kings. You were born to rule the internet kingdom. You have the mandate of heaven. And that's the thing.
Or hell. It could be hell. I don't know.
You have the mandate of heaven, sire. And all those who come before you, one way or the other, are smited by God. Dark Side Phil has God
Did
on
he
his
rehearse this
side.
bull?
And there's no way that Steve, a mere follower of science and logic, can battle with the mystical powers of the almighty Dark Side Phil.
That might be it, because I've made some of the most illogical
If he was
choices
almighty, he wouldn't need to beg for a living.
any humans ever made, yet I'm still here, but people who follow logic seem to get felted left and right.
Exactly. There's no stopping it. There's no rhyme. There's no reason to it. There's no order. It's just.
We'll catch up with the live chat. This goes on and on, I think. I'm a fan of both you and Kino, but I hope this is just jokes. But I am going to keep watching regardless, though I still watch both. Shout out to Steve for becoming a bigger fan the more I watch. Not glazed, though. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm very kind of you. We appreciate your kindness. Very generous. Pentaxenstein with 5, making Steve the heel. Yeah. How is he retconning this whole interview and making me the bad guy? Is it the scamming, begging grifter that we busted the bad guy? Criminal restreamer with a kind and generous $9.99. And the message is 3 dots. Very mysterious, very cryptic, but thank you. 1 for the goal. Akikama with 2. Triple P glazing Phil like WWE, and Phil believes it. Yeah, it's bizarre, but thank you. Kingle91 YouTubes with a kind of generous £4.99. Your interview was literally the highlight of the internet in a long while. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and thank you for your kindness. So we have Pentakenstein with another one. Broken is the word Triple P is looking for. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Phil believes this is kind of funny to me. Seems to me Triple P trying to pit you two against each other for content. He often says he loves tarred on tarred violence. Stay away, it's poison. Chad Wellington, you may be indeed correct. Yeah, let's continue with this. See how long the glazing goes for.
Pure chaos. It's the vortex, snortex, if you will. And all who step into it are destroyed, except for the king, who somehow rises above in the whirlwind.
Oh my God.
Storm, when the mighty waves rise, when the tsunamis come and they wash away all of the Johnny-come-latelys, all of the flash in the pans. Never was, never will be anything. The legacy of Darkside Phil is elevated above all.
I love this show, man.
All away. They built their foundation on the sinking sand. You've heard the parable. The wise
man, this is some grade A BS right here, you know.
Who built his house upon the rock. And that's Phil. He built his house upon the rock.
Yeah, he's got a solid foundation of being a lying, grifting scumbag. Yeah, he does. You're right.
Positivity.
Positivity? How is it positive lying to your audience for free money, dude?
Of building a community upon consistency.
A community of morons dumb enough to give him money. Yeah.
And work ethic. He built his business on the rock. But Snake Steve, built his business upon the shifting sands. The detractors built their business upon the shifting sands. And when the rain and the storms and the floods come in, the sand is washed away.
Do you think even Triple P believes this in that mess?
Easy. You're on the beach.
Talk about pigmatized.
I'm in the sun.
Phil is hypnotized by... And listen, here's what Triple P is doing. Phil is a huge egomaniac and narcissist. He's just appealing to his narcissism, and narcissists love when people stroke their egos.
And the sand.
And by the way, I heard a rumor that Triple P studied psychology. I don't know if that's true, but somebody told me he studied not just psychology, abnormal psychology. And if that's true, then he is very much the most well-educated person for how to manipulate a narcissist.
Surf, and it's so nice. It's fair weather. But you get washed away in times of turmoil and distress. Whereas Phil stands tall against the winds and the rain and the floods and the turmoil. He remains undefeated, undisputed, the king of the internet there.
There's something going on. All this gaslighting is really strong, man. I just taking over my room over here.
It's all true.
Oh,
it's true.
I gotta go open the window.
True.
Let it out.
Yeah. He's such a legend. He's been an internet personality for 15 years, and I'm beating his live view count right now. Such a legend. I mean, I don't know. I talked about this before. I don't understand the ratio with this guy. Like, for example, if we go and check in on David Wilcock and look at his latest live stream, right? And we look at the view count. Like, I'll get 3 or 4 or 5,000 views covering David Wilcock, but his last live stream got 71,000 views. That's what I'm used to. That the detractor ratio is very small compared to the big fish that we go after. But in the case of Phil, there are detractor channels that are getting 2,000 live viewers, and he's getting 200 for his show that they're covering. This make it make sense. None of this makes sense. Oh, geez. I'm sorry.
This is no primal worm tongue display. Your Highness, Your Majesty.
Hold on, let me take care of it.
Unparalleled.
Yeah, liar. Pants on fire.
Dynasties. None can rival the House Burnell, sire. None can rival it. There are many who have tried. They have all failed. The sands of time have defeated them. But you, the Colossus, stand tall.
Man, I'm starting to look. PPP is one of those puppet master in the PPP. Puppet master PPP.
Sire, a statue in the desert wilderness. Behold his name, Ozymandias, King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
My God.
It is Philip Paul Burnell indeed, and his majestic dynasty. Long may he reign. Down with Snake Steve and his schemes.
Wow. If they really want Jey Uso to go over, they got to get you to be his manager on Raw to cut these kind of promos, man, because he can't do it for shit, but you are like the ultimate promo glazer on pod. If you went out there and you were like, Jey Uso's going to kick Gunther's, people would be like, whoa, I believe it now. Holy shit. He's going to fuck him up, you know? That's what they need.
You should hire PPP as your, but should? I already am. What do you think this is?
Oh, gosh.
Wow. All right.
Tommy's not
totally, completely, and totally cringeworthy.
Welcome to Ban World, Tommy. No.
And the fact that Darkside Phil is buying this, that you know, this was all my fault. And does he really believe that Triple P thought I was going to give him a softball glazing interview? Does he really believe that?
Well,
I mean, he is a moron, but how much of a moron? That's the question.
We'll let you stay. King Burnell is merciful.
Wow.
His grace extends to even the most dented of detractors, even the most special needs amongst you, the ones that smell and stink and are obese. Even he, the legendary Phil, gives grace to thee. How lowly that thou art.
You know, imagine if you really tune into the show to hear about wrestling. This show, Triple P said it himself, this show is not about wrestling. It's about making Phil dance like a monkey, but he just doesn't know it. Or something. I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like that. Triple P said that about this show. It's not about wrestling. It's about making Darkside Phil dance like a monkey, but he doesn't know it.
I think after that very generous segment from PPP, we should do a couple shout outs for a few contributions that came in and then and take the show on the road, shall we? I think so. That was a pretty good segment.
Nathan Smith for 50 pounds.
50 pounds.
Sterling. Great British pounds sterling.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like those. Those
slightly more.
More.
Exactly. They're slightly more.
The rest of you must step up your tribute to the king. Where are the tributes? Trumpeters herald.
Oh, God.
His glorious march towards the wrestling show.
Wow, this is really cringy.
We start out, there was a $5 tip earlier on, so I want to shout that out, and it is from Slayer. Slayer with a $5 tip earlier. And he said, I wanted to say, I'm not sure if you guys got to watch NXT Vengeance. I did not get to see it. I was totally going to watch it, and I forgot over the weekend. And last night I was like, there's no way I could watch that and Raw in one night. Like, it's
No
just too much
Frills
fucking
wrestling
for one
thing?
night. But, so he says, the show was great. I like the wrestling on there. It's more hard-hitting and faster paced than the main roster. There isn't advertisement cuts, unlike the main roster. As for SmackDown, just to keep you up to date, Solo Sikoa has come back, but due to miscommunication, there will be a rivalry between Jacob Fatu and him. That sounds fucking weird. That sounds like a really misfire in my opinion that he wrestled Jacob. As for Raw, I'm not surprised that Judgment Day has lost all their matches. Well, we'll talk about that tonight, actually.
Wow,
There's probably
yeah.
going to be a fight between Dom and Finn.
Wrestling
I've been watching
nonsense.
back
I guess they're
WCPW.
done with the drama
I'm watching
already.
Wrestling World Cup for the English and Scottish qualifiers so far. I would love that one day maybe you would watch that. That kind of stuff is free on YouTube. They have their own channel. Okay, well, thank you, Slayer.
We're going to need some more contributions. We appreciate
Of course you're
that
going to need some more.
We appreciate
Get
but
that
if we're gonna
bag.
be watching this indie UK fucking yard tard garbage. We're going to need some more money. We know that there's only one federation.
All right, are they done with the drama, or are they going on to wrestling now?
Are mere bingo halls filled with jabroni bums that you might like because they remind you of yourself. A pencil neck geek with a small penis.
Jeez, man. Way to thank a super chatter, Triple P.
I want to see a big black man shit on your chest.
Oh,
What is he talking about?
I want you to eat it up and tell me it's yummy.
Oh.
Like, this is the shit that fucking Vince McMahon was saying.
All right, I think they're done with the drama.
Super chats that actually came in. We have Rush S just did a $5 super chat. He says, can we get to some wrestling talk? Because this week's Raw was weak.
Yeah, I guess they're done with the drama. So
He doesn't even know the lore enough to know that you never dressed up like Dracula from Castlevania.
What the hell?
all right, I guess they're done, which means I guess we're done, which is quite okay with me. We want to thank Politburo with another kind and generous $2 Australian. Triple P wants DSB to be to him what Boogie is to Keem. His boss? Yeah, Keem makes Boogie dance like a monkey, and Triple P is constantly making Darkside Phil dance like a monkey. So there's probably something to that. Low Ghost with a kind of generous $4.99. Triple P is Don King and Phil is Mike Tyson. Triple P is going to take Phil for all he's worth. Wow. Yeah. Pentaxenstein with 5. DSP literally owes his survival to Triple P. Steve, you've given him his flowers. It's all good, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that, Pentaxenstein. And I guess they didn't read your super chat because it said True Seekers is greater than Darkside Phil. Suffer, bitch. It's 3:35 a.m. in the UK. You made me stay up too late, Steven. Big ups. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you were here with us. So I guess that's it for the drama. Maybe I'll clip this out and post it as a separate video on our channel, or we'll just get the clip and go over it again, because I think sometime this week I will respond to some of this Darkside Phil drama. Why am I toxic? Says Ricky Picture with a kind of generous 5 and 1 for the goal. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. I'm going to go over and check in with the goal, but I don't think we're hitting that second goal, which is quite all right with me. It's already been a long show. We're at 3 hours, 36 minutes. Yeah, we're at 19 of 50. So, look, man, maybe I should just do what Darkside Phil does. Just sit here until we hit the goal before I give you any more slop or content, right? Can you believe he does that? He wants donations before he even plays the game. Colin Grant says, I just saw Greer on Danny Jones. I didn't watch it yet. I was wondering if you did and if it's worth watching. Probably not. Greer has the same talking points over and over and over again. He has for years. It's all the same shit. He says the same stuff over and over and over again. If you've seen one of his interviews in the last 5 years, you've seen all of them. But thank you for the question. So we've done our due diligence, my friends, and nice to let David Wilcock know that I did not forget about him. I'm sure he was kind of wondering, like, wow, Steve's didn't do a show after I did. He gets lonely if I don't felt him every week. So we're happy to be able to return to the wacky world of Wilcock, my friends. So I will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tomorrow night, we're doing a general show, mixing together a lot of stuff going on in the world of UFOs and aliens. Apparently, there's a lot to talk about. And I got to say, it felt really good to sort of take a break from all the UFO alien crazy for a little while and focus on Dumb Side Phil. But I got to get back to business. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be doing the UFO report and updating you on a bunch of different stories. So it's not one specific story or one specific character in UFO land. It's going to be more like a montage of all different stories. But we'll get you caught up to date on all the latest drama and happenings and grifters grifting in the world of UFO and aliens. We'll take a moment. Oh, I got to check in with we'll check in. For those unaware, you can also support the show via PayPal. And that's truthseekershow@gmail.com. Just send any amount you wish, but be sure to add a note and give us your chat room user ID and let us know in the anything you want us to read. And we have the MVP of PayPal pledges, Nemesis Bex. Nemesis Bex says the guys over at Hidden in Plain Sight said that in the future it would be a good idea to get together with you and a few other people that report on David for a roundtable or something like that. It would be awesome. Great show and a kind and generous $12.08 $12.08 PayPal pledge. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated. Nemesis Bex. And I want to take a moment also to thank all of you supporters, because every year I forget about it, but they just took 200 out of my PayPal account to pay for our website. And if you get a chance, you should check out our website. It's truthseekershow.com. Truth Seeker, one Truth Seeker, the word show, all one word.com. You can get all our latest episodes, whether you want the video versions or the audio podcast versions. They're all there, truthseekershow.com. So I want to thank all of you supporters who kindly, the funds came from our supporters here, and you guys were able to allow me to pay for another whole year of that website being live. So thank you very much. I also upgraded one of our video editing softwares. It's not my main editor, but I use Wondershare Filmora. And I think we had an ancient version, like version 11, and we've upgraded to the latest, greatest version of Wondershare Filmora, which I do use. I use a lot of the filters and stuff in it. So it's not my main editor, but I drag things in and filter and affect them. And they've got a lot of overlays and different special effects that I don't have in my main editor. It's just a great tool to have. And I want to thank all of you guys for your kindness, generosity, and support that allowed me to upgrade. Finally, we went from version 11 to 14 something. So, wow, we've got some kind and generous people who bought me a beer. Someone bought me a beer and says, "I'm so happy this happened." Oh no, that's an older one. Okay. Graham bought a beer. Oh, that's from Christmas. Not many people buying me a beer, but that's okay. My wife would be happy that less people are buying me a beer, honestly. Shyla Lecoq bought a beer and said, "That being said, banned me from their chat earlier to bring up the fact that they had two predators in their podcast. They are also not talking about how Raven was caught texting a minor and Snood defended him and still bring on Snood on their streams." Yeah, listen, here's what I'm going to say. If you have a problem with another show host, that really has nothing to do with me. So I would prefer, I mean, thanks for the $5, but I would prefer if you have a grudge against a certain show host, or you don't like a certain show host. Like, for example, people come at me and say, they have some kind of a beef or grudge with the Kino Boys. I'm fine with them. I don't. So if you have a grudge against a fellow show host, don't send me a super chat hoping that I'll read it, or I did read it because I don't really understand, but like I don't have anything against that show host. I don't know anything about who he streams with or the people involved. I don't know about the allegations you're making. So let that be said. And yeah, and that's where we're at. And if you'd like to buy me a beer or buy me a coffee, the instructions for how to do that are in the description of the video. Be sure to leave a note when you do that, and we read those notes on the show. And if you're feeling particularly generous, please do send those large dono bombs either through PayPal or buy me a coffee. And that's simply because the percentage they take is much, much less than the YouTube super chats. We appreciate when some of you guys are feeling extremely generous that you do it through the best platform for us to keep the most, quite honestly. Archaic Revival says, I will bring the world flying Nan in 45 days, or you can give me money now. If you say so, yes. Joe Blah is saying that was debunked. Yeah, I see. I don't even know what that person is talking about, and it's really kind of weird to go, I'm going to get this show host to talk shit on this other show host by reading this super chat or buy me a beer or what. Like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that situation. And I went on That Being Said podcast. They were very kind to me. I had a great time being a guest on their show. We just laughed for 2 or 3 hours straight. It was fun. And I don't have anything against the guy. So if you have a beef with him, take it up with him, not me. Don't put me in the middle of your petty squabbles and disputes. And I'm sure for some, oh, well, this is very important. Well, it's not important to me. I don't even know what you're talking about, right? Pathfinder says, top man, Stephen, thank you. Great show again. Well, thank you for your kindness. So we are going to bounce on out of here. So we've done our due diligence. I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive. But you can follow me on X or formerly Twitter at Stephen Cambion. We always post the shows a few hours at least, sometimes more, before we do them. So the live streamed links will be there on my X at Stephen Cambion. Be sure to follow me there. Visit our website, truthseekershow.com. We want to take a moment to thank you, kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, you YouTube channel members, super chatter, super sticker, super thanks people, you PayPal pledgers, and the Kick subscribers. I almost forgot the Kick subscribers. We got to see if we got any gifted subs over there. And I finally figured out how to do that right. You have to go to Creator Dashboard and then Revenue, I think it is. We'll see if we can find it. Creator Dashboard, Revenue, Gifted Subs. Okay. And just give me a minute. Why is there no data there? All right. February 18th, we got a gifted sub by Clydesdale. Gifted 1 subscription. Big ups. Thank you very much. And also, oh no, that was our only gifted sub today, but we appreciate that. And February 16th, we got a gifted sub from King Coke. And February 15th, we had Cantain gifted 5 subs and then another subs, and also subscribed. Bunker Buster for you, we thank. We thank Winter Soldier for gifting a sub earlier in the month. Clydesdale gifted a sub. Papa Stovepipe. Carnove 89 gifted 1 sub. Clydesdale gifted 5. $250,000 Man gifted 5. Dice Rail gifted 1. Banjo Friend gifted 1. $250,000 Man gifted another 1, and then 5 more. Leaf Veins gifted 1 sub. Milkin Gentry gifted a sub. Mostly Tasted gifted a sub. Real Shumpa gifted a sub. Banjo Friend gifted 1 sub. Iron Chef Saka Real, who, by the way, is one of Darkside Phil's whales and Pay Pigs, gifted 20 subs. That's $100. Karnov gifted a sub. Soviet Tankista subscribed. Winter Soldier gifted a sub. Clydesdale gifted 5 subs. Winter Soldier gifted 5. Winter Soldier subscribed. Morshoe gifted 1 sub. Acid Roach gifted a sub. And Boba1499 gifted a sub. So we thank all of you kind and generous Kick donators. Wow. I'm going to get a whole new paycheck over there. This is awesome. We're praising the cash big. And you know how I like to praise the cash. So we'll take a moment to thank you all for your kindness, your generosity, and support. And, of course, for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash.
Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated. If there's no further donos, then we'll be bouncing out. Well, I'm bouncing out here either way, but I hate when I miss one, like when somebody throws one in when the credits are already playing, right? Yeah, but we read those out on the following night. So don't be shy if you're feeling generous and moved by the wonderful Truth Seekers theme song that we play us out with. So we've done our due diligence. We did a double shot of David Wilcock plus the overtime commenting on Dumb Side Phil and this PPP drama. I think I'm going to do another pig roast this week. We'll see. I could use another bag, right? I could use another bag. Those were 2 nice bags, right? And I didn't think I was going to get anywhere near the bag for just the aftermath stream that I did for the interview stream, but I did. It was about the same both nights. And man, if I could do that every night, I could put my kids through college just shitting all over Dark Side Phil, and I'm good with that. Ha ha! Suffer, Dumb Side Phil and David Wilcock. Yeah, it was fun tonight to hear David Wilcock cry so much about how I'm ruining his life with this terrible thing I have on my side called the truth. Ha ha! Suffer, Wilcock, bitch! He's bald! He's broke! He can barely survive! And here we are, doing better than surviving. Thanks to the kindness, generosity, and support of all of you, we are thriving. So, my friends, that is all I got for you. And like I said, I will most likely be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, and that's another reason why you should follow me on X, at Stephen Cambion. If I'm not going to do a show, for whatever reason I announce it, if I'm doing a show, I put the link there. Be sure to follow me. So that's all I got for you, friends. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. Yeah, so that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Dark corners of the night, secrets hidden from the light. Whispers turn to screams, shattering all your dreams. Eyes wide open now, truth you can't disavow. Echoes through the halls, crashing all your walls. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Uncover the lies, open your eyes. Shadows try to hide, no place for them to bide. Light will pierce you through, reveal what is true. Running from your fears, can't escape.